talking about Greg Gutfeld, he is again the #1 late-night TV host, and by some margin.
We need to learn from the blacks.
Joe Mackey is the heir to the Persian throne.
What up, my Nazi?
Nazi, please.
Night after night, Greg Gutfeld dominates the competition and humiliates The View.
One Joy Behar special coming up.
How did he defeat all the other late-night juggernauts like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Colbert? Is he just that good? Unlike other late-night hosts who had their late-night shows handed to them by their billionaire feminist parents, Greg Gutfeld is self-made. His career is relatable for many average Americans of his generation. Gutfeld is a baby boomer, and he likes everything that a baby boomer man likes. Cars, tits.
What's more important in this world, her dirty bathwater or, sperm? I think this is a great commodity.
And tax loopholes.
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes.
Greg came of age during the space race, and, like an astronaut, he was fired upwards.
Where did you? I want to know your background and where you came from, how you ended up hosting your show, this talk show.
It's a good question. I've been fired a lot. So I got fired from Men's Health, where I was the king of abs. Stuff Magazine was there for a couple years.
Love Stuff Magazine.
Yeah, it was amazing. Got fired from there. Had to leave the country for, no, let's not get into that. And so I was just sitting at a bar in Chelsea, and a friend says, there's a Fox that wants to do a late night show. Are you interested? And I'm like, dude, I'm broke. So I will do anything. So they flew me over, and I started doing this show, Red Eye.
Greg drank his way to a show called Red Eye, which got its name because it was on at 2 a.m.
Your show absolutely sucks, and you suck. Your guests suck, and no one on the show is the least bit funny. It reminds me of my college years, but I would rather watch the Three Stooges. Give it up, dude. Give it up, dude. Don't call me dude. Call the she-male you bang in your daddy's RV, dude. But not me. Everybody was drunk. Everybody was drunk. Even the cameraman.
Greg would be fired to a weekend show at Fox before he was eventually fired to his own late night show that would air at 10 p.m. The 10 p.m. time slot was key because it was right when his main demographic would fall asleep with the TV on, which allowed advertisers to access the coveted subliminal ad space, which is located deep in the central lobe. 2 a.m. never worked because Gutfeld's viewers would be well on their way to Costco at this time. Greg Gutfeld is a wealthy man.
By 2026, Greg Gutfeld has crushed the competition, amassed a shocking $28 million fortune, and bought a secret fortress for his new family.
But he comes off as relatable because he talks about issues that everyday Americans care about, like trans people in sports.
So the cheater, Khalif, gets to keep his women's gold, which he can proudly hang around his scrotum.
Trans people in bathrooms.
It's not a ban any more than I am banned from taking a crap because I can't use the women's John.
And trans people at the library.
What do you mean by biological sex? What does woke even mean? Drag queen story hour? How is that sexual?
All the other late night hosts have a haughty snobbishness about them. You can just tell they think they're better than you.
Stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here. From where I was sitting, I can see your belly.
Greg is just like us. Just a guy hanging out in a basement making the same jokes about Bill Clinton that we all did 30 years ago.
Dad saying he doesn't care how old they are as long as they're fat. All right.
The mainstream media has been in decline for decades because the regular folks can see the elitism on display with the fancy sets, fancy clothes, and fact checkers. The majority of Americans are low budget and they don't understand good lighting. Working people want to see TikToks of guys ranting in their trucks about vaccines, or girls in their cars ranting about vaccines. The late night Jimmies employ thousands of Ivy League DEI writers, but Gutfeld is scrappy. The whole show is put together by Greg, Joe Mackey, Grok, and Rupert Murdoch. Jokes are one of the best ways to be funny, and being funny accounts for almost 10% of a comedian's job in 2026. And Greg Gutfeld has jokes. Gutfeld, like other late night shows, opens with jokes. But although the format is similar, the content is very different. The mainstream shows will have monologues that contain the same anti-Trump smears that their Ivy League DEI writers stole from Reddit that day. Greg takes a different approach. I have been watching Gutfeld live on Twitch every Monday for the past 11 years, and I have become quite good at predicting the punchlines.
Joe Biden. Joe fucking Biden. I know.
It brings me so much joy. Behar is fat. A Gutfeld monologue is in perfect rondo form and utilizes repetition in a hilariously mesmerizing way. The predictability of the jokes soothes the brain and activates the laugh center. Let's take a look at a classic Gutfeld monologue. The A section introduces a joke like Joe Biden is old or Don Lemon is gay.
Causing one man to ask, but where can I meet the gay of Hormuz?
The B section will introduce a second joke like Hillary Clinton kills people.
Which is like Hillary Clinton telling you not to hang people.
He will then repeat the first joke and introduce a third.
And he sounds no different than Don Lemon saying, I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got dozens of homeless to bang. And women don't have to be fully covered anymore, with the exception, of course, of one.
Then he will triumphantly return to the first joke.
Yeah, they went down faster than Don Lemon at a highway rest stop.
Let me introduce Gutfeld's regular panelists. Tyrus appears in most episodes of Gutfeld and lends his big laugh to the show whenever Greg makes a joke about black people. Tom Shalhoub is an old friend of Greg's and is his go-to panelist and guest host because many of Greg's fans can't see the difference between Tom and Greg due to their cataracts. Kat Timpf is also on the show. Pundits, commentators, and podcasters frequent Greg's panel, but comedians really shine on Gutfeld.
What is trans culture? Is it going to the wrong bathroom? Is it terrorizing the Planet Fitness women's change room? What exactly is it?
A spot on The Tonight Show is irrelevant in 2026. The media landscape has changed. The new pipeline is a 60-second spot on Kill Tony, which, if it goes well, leads to tons of bookings and millions of fans across the desecrated heartland of North America. The Gutfeld panel offers a similar route to the Kill Tony system, but you don't need 60 seconds of funny. You can simply smile and laugh when Greg says the wokes have destroyed America. Greg's guests provide ideological balance to the media, which has an overwhelmingly communist bias. For every weeping Jimmy, there needs to be a cackling Gutfeld to remind us that feelings are gay, and so is Don Lemon. Gutfeld is at the top of his game and isn't going anywhere. Decades from now, the other late-night shows will all have been canceled long ago. The failing liberal cities will be deserted. The entire US population will live in Texas and tune into Fox, the only surviving network. The mainstream media will be gone. But Gutfeld will still hilariously lampoon them to remind us that they sucked when they were around, just like he makes fun of former President Bill Clinton, who got sucked when he was around.
I wanted to air this because I got sent this and I saw this and I watched most of it. I didn't see it all this morning. It's like 30 minutes long, but I watched part of it. And the guy's saying he's criticizing me because you do that, you don't get banned by the algorithm. And he's just one surfer coming on the waves we created. So he pretty much gets it. I thought it was entertaining and informative. He's also got a pretty ridiculous name, Extra Chill Goblin. We always like goblin jokes. I don't know why. I made goblin jokes years ago that came super viral, so whatever. Yeah. We'll air that. So here's Extra Chill Goblin, then Harrison Smith takes over. Here it is. Extra Chill Goblin. He pretty much gets it. Dirty. He's also got a pretty ridiculous name. Extra Chill Goblin Vomit, Slop, and Blood. thought it was entertaining and informative. He's got a goblin guide charging into a goblin's nest. I don't want to see him kissing goblins. I just don't want to catch him in bed with a goblin. Literal vampire pot-belly goblins are hobbling around coming after us. Extra chill goblin.
Yo, it's the goblin time. Whoa, look at the time. It's goblin o'clock. Goblin 30. Gang, thanks for checking in, for tuning in to the show. Welcome. How is everyone? Bright and early in the afternoon, Wednesday, June 3rd. How do you start a show like this? I'm doing good. I'm getting through the day. I had a brutal Monday this week. I was helping a couple of my friends move, and boy, God, it was a rough one. Maybe one of the worst moves I've ever done. You know, when you go help someone move, and it's sort of like you really have to trust somebody if you go and help them move, and trust that they will not, screw you over, like not even like super intentionally, but just like, you ever go to help somebody move and they haven't even finished packing yet, and then they're packing, and then you're carrying all the stuff out, and it just a move shouldn't take a full day. A move shouldn't take a full full day. And I thought I was just moving 2 people. It turned out to be moving 4 people. Not a lot of people showed up. Anyway, I did most of the work. Now I'm just like, my body's covered in bruises. Oh, God. I was pretty useless yesterday. I was like laying in bed all day. But now I'm feeling a little bit better. But I still have to have my big pillow behind me so that I can sit up in this chair. I'm like, how can I make this chair more like a bed? Oh, man. It was a 3rd floor move. Moving to the 3rd floor with this massive staircase, no elevator or anything. Yeah, whatever. Like, 3rd floor's not that high, but oh man, carrying stuff up. No, I didn't move. It was a friend of mine, couple of my friends. It's like and here's the thing. Here's what you should do. Okay, here's a life hack. And this is what I do, because I've moved people before, and it's been a little bit like that, where whatever, and because I'm not like a super strong guy, for whatever reason. I guess I am decent at moving, and I'm like a whatever hard worker. I guess, like I'm not like physical labor isn't my thing. Most of my jobs in my life have been, I don't know, talking to people. But like I have a thing, because I've been burned in the past by moves. People ask me to move in. I'll be like, I usually will try to do it unless I absolutely can't. And I'll be kind of vague about whether I can or not. Because I never want people to be depending on me for a move. You know what I mean? Like I don't want people to be like, oh, we got James. We got like a big, strong dude who can come and help. No. I don't want them to be relying on. I want them to get other big, strong people to help the move. And so I never confirm. I don't confirm. But I'll show up. But I'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, okay. And then I just won't get back to them, really. I try to do that. And I think generally that is a good tip. But if you can believe it, I was pretty much the beefiest guy at the move. So, it was a rough one. It was a 12-hour day. 12 hours. Oi. 12-hour day. When we got there, and then like I'm like lugging stuff up and down the stairs. And then like the people who are moving in are just like kind of hanging out upstairs and be like, I think we should maybe we'll put the TV here, and maybe we'll put the thing here, and maybe we'll do this here. And I'm just like up, down, sweating, scratching my arms. Oh God, it's brutal. I guess I'm still a little mad about it. I'm still a little angry about it. I didn't expect I would be talking about it this much. Yeah, and they're like, oh, and you gotta come. Oh, Jill Goblin, you gotta come to the party. We're gonna have a housewarming party in 3 months. Housewarming / combo birthday party. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to come. I know if I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna see that staircase, and I'm gonna remember why I don't trust you guys anymore. You know, I'm gonna remember when you guys betrayed my trust. It's like, maybe can we do the housewarming party just like at a local bar? Can we just have the housewarming party like anywhere but the house? I'm gonna have a Vietnam flashbacks to that day. Anyway, but yeah, no. If they ask me again, I will cheerfully refuse. I just won't do it. I won't do it. But no, I don't mind moving people because I've had moves, and you know, I've had friends really come through for me and come and help me move. And I'm always, you know, I'm not it's weird. In a lot of areas in life, I'm very, I don't know. I don't got my shit together, and I'm not great at getting things done and knowing what things to do. But for a move, I feel like it's like really important that you're like, when I have my friends come over to help me move, I'm ready to go. I have a plan. Like they know what's up in advance. And I have like multiple people who are able to carry heavy things. Because like there's heavy things to carry, you know. We can't, hopefully you're not relying on one person to do all of the heavy lifting. Hopefully. Also, damn, I just for the first time realized about the strap harness shit. Oh my God. Lifesaver. I never have lifted with these, like, you put like a harness on, like you're going like rock climbing, and there's like a big wide strap in like the middle of it. Never used these before, but they're a dream. All of a sudden you're lifting with your legs instead of your arms. I'm trying to use it for like everything. It's amazing. Anyway, okay. This isn't the extra chill. I'm a story of how I helped my friends move show. This is the Extra Chill Goblin show, and yeah, you heard the theme song. So yo, check it. I gotta shout out this guy. Wait, where'd he go? Right here. I gotta shout out the Professional Joke Explainer. Just stumbled across this video. I thought it was really good. This is like totally up my alley. I also did like myself.
Just a guy hanging out.
I did a kind of definitely not a deep dive, but I did a little research on Gutfeld, and it really is a fascinating show to watch to get a glimpse into the conservative mind. What makes him tick? What makes him laugh? Absolutely, you know, fascinating anthropological study potential here. And I thought this guy did a great job of going through everything. So so what's the deal here? He's got 2 channels. The Bachelors of Music is one, and then the Professional Joke Explainer. So it looks like the Bachelor of Music is a little bit more established, and the Professional Joke Explainer is like kind of a newer channel he's trying to take off. Or trying to launch. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I'll check on more of this. So more of these a lot of these other things are about stand up too. Cool. Curtis Connor. Oh, okay. He's a Toronto guy I vaguely know from when I was there. I mean, I don't know him personally at all. But I don't know. I heard a lot of other comedians talk about him being like, "Oh my God, he sucks at stand up. He's so bad. Why is he even trying to do this? He should just keep doing YouTube shit." But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean he's bad. That's just how comedians are always going to talk about, Well, basically, I was going to say any YouTuber that becomes a comedian, but that's pretty much just how they talk about any comedian. Oh, he sucks, dude. Oh, you like that dude? He's terrible, man. Nah, I never found him funny. Okay, he's got tons of shit on comedy. Dave Smith jokes explained. Okay, cool. I'm gonna check this guy out. Yes, this is right up my alley. Love this shit. I'd love to do a channel that was just what's it called? Oh, so he doesn't. Oh, interesting. So there's no page on the Professional Joke Explainer where I can just look at videos. It's all collaborations. Interesting. Okay, well, anyway. Cool. All right, sorry, I'm getting lost in this, but guys, definitely go check this channel out. Quite good. Short videos. At least the one that we just watched was like 8 minutes. Yeah, it looks like around 8 to 40 minute long videos. Oh God, that would be great if I could manage to do that. And here's his other channel, The Bachelors of Music. What is that even? Is there stuff on music in here too? Oh, he's Canadian. What? Maybe do I know this guy? Maybe he started stand up after I kind of walked away, or maybe he does stand up in a different city than I did. What's up? Where do I? The Bachelors of Music. Oh, The Bachelors of Music is like the name for his like band. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's a funny name. Okay, I can't figure out. All right. Well, anyway, good stuff. There's his 2 channels. Go give him some love if you want. I recommend you do. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Now, okay. We gotta get into it. We gotta do it. It's time. Ring the bell. School's in, sucker. We've got to start. We've got to get back to basics. All right. We got to learn game theory. All right. That's right. We got to complete our journey of knowledge and education and academia. We got to watch the second part of the Professor Jiang explains the Holy Empire of AI. Now, we watched the first part of it, and he starts talking about a book that I have actually read, Karen Howe's Empire of AI. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm into all this stuff. Yeah. AI, it does function like an empire does. It extracts resources, it finds exploitable areas of the world, the third world, or just like impoverished people in the first world. It finds those people, it installs all the data centers, it's doing all this kind of harmful shit to people, and then it is telling a story about how wonderful it is. So it's similar to the way that like colonialism, imperialism throughout history, like up until and including what happens today, it always comes with this like grand story about itself, and like, oh, it's so wonderful. We're bringing Christianity to the world. Oh wow, the British Empire. The sun never sets on the British Empire. Ha ha ha. Hey, we're bringing them civilization. We're bringing them democracy. We're bringing them. Meanwhile, it's like doing like literally the most horrible things that humans have ever done to other humans. That is what is actually going on behind the scenes. So we got like slavery. We've got genocide. We've got just like all the greatest hits of crimes against humanity. And then it's all dressed up. Oh, look at what we're doing. We're so cool. Wow. To go off into the unexplored world. Whoa, only the brave British, blah, blah, blah. That whole thing. And it is funny how similar that is to AI, right? And like all the stories that they tell. We're getting to AGI. We're doing this. We're doing that. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm listening to Mr. Jiang over here, Jiang teacher. And at first I was like, oh man, okay, this guy's kind of legit. I don't know why people are always clowning on this dude. He doesn't seem that weird. Yeah, and I read this book, and I agree with his premise, and I think it's cool. He's getting into it. And then there was a twist, midway through, where he's like, and that's why data centers are portals through which the AI dudes will summon demons and and or aliens. It could be both, could be one or the other, but definitely one of those two things. And that AI is an occult practice, that AGI, the push for AGI is a quasi-religious movement. Not a quasi-religious movement. It is literally a cult. Now, I also kind of agree with that a little bit. I think that there are noteworthy similarities between the two there. But anyway, he sort of ended off by talking about the flaws and the constraints in the AI whatever thing, and then he's the AI whatever development. He's like, now here's why things maybe won't work, blah 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 blah. And then he's like, but next time we're going to talk about this. So here's that. Honestly, don't even listen to anything I just said. I'm sure none of it will be relevant. But this was technically part 2 of the thing we heard already. Here it is. The Holy Empire of AI. Jiang, take it away, my brother.
Last semester, we looked at secret societies and eschatology, secret history.
Sorry, 1 second. I must say, I did have pizza and beer. I got there at 10 a.m. There were snacks. End of the day, 10 p.m., there was pizza and beer. So I got to give him that. Anyway, okay. Professor Jiang explains. Professor Jiang, why don't you explain? Why don't you predict history?
Last semester, we looked at secret societies. And eschatology, secret history.
Okay.
This semester, we're doing game theory. In this class, I want to connect the two and show you how the world works.
Oh, great.
Okay? So first thing I want to do is go over some popular conspiracy theories about...
This is awesome already. Okay, so eschatology, that is like the end of the world stuff, right? Like the end of human history as we know it. So I guess before he was doing game theory, which I thought was his whole thing, but I guess not. He taught eschatology? This is supposed to be like a high school English class he's doing, by the way. Well, anyway, and secret society. So I guess it was eschatology, secret societies, and now game theory. I don't really see how those progress, but okay, sure. These are the different units in English class. But his whole thing here, okay, he's going to bring it all together. I can't wait. Let's hear it.
How the world works. And there are different variations. So I'll just go over a very simplified, clear version, okay? And remember, if there's anything you don't understand, ask a question and make sure you are clear. Okay, so we start with the Knights Templars.
The Knights Templars.
Knights Templars is probably the most successful secret society in the world. It was founded in the year 1118 as part of the Crusades.
First of all, guys, it's not pluralized. It's just the Knights Templar.
Crusades. So there were Christian pilgrims who went to Jerusalem. Along the way, they would get robbed. So Knights Templars was a volunteer organization designated by the Vatican to protect these pilgrims. And over time, what happened was that the Knights Templars became a bank as well, where you could deposit your gold with the Knights Templars, and they would give you a receipt, and when you went to Jerusalem, they would give you the gold back, okay? So they became a bank, and over time, they became an extremely powerful organization because they were convergence of politics, military, religion, and finance. And that's why in 1314, the Catholic Church...
I have no clue why the hell he's bringing this up to get to AI shit, but okay. Yeah, the Knights Templar, probably the most successful secret society in history of the world, according to Jiang. And as he correctly notes, they haven't existed since like the fucking 14th century. But all right.
And the King of France made them illegal, okay? They burned their leader, Jacques de Molay, at the stake and accused him of blasphemy for worshiping a false god named Baphomet. So the Knights Templars...
Is that where Baphomet comes from? I know that.
...were in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was convergence of all religions. So they started to become curious about different religions and started to engage in Hermetic philosophy, Neoplatonism, Gnostic philosophy, which were all considered heretical by the Catholic Church, okay? So this was a bad organization. And then...
This is a bad organization, he says? Okay. Making value judgments there, okay, over here on your high horse.
What happened was that people speculate that rather than disappear, the Knights Templars re-emerge as the Scottish Rite Freemasons. And why they're important.
Okay, I've heard this before. Yeah, okay, so I just looked this up, and yeah, so I didn't know this. The Templars were accused of idolatry and were charged with worshipping either a figure known as Baphomet or a mummified severed head they had recovered, amongst other artifacts, at the original headquarters on the Temple Mount. Some have theorized that this head might have been believed to be that of John the Baptist, among other things. And that wouldn't be so bad, right? They find John the Baptist's head, they take it back, they do some prayers over it. That ain't mean they're worshiping the devil. They can still be Christian, right? What, you found a head of Jesus' friend? All right. Now Baphomet. Okay, so the term Baphomet first. Yes, wow. Okay, this is where Baphomet's from. Yo, we learn something new every day over here at the Extra Chill Goblin Show. This name first emerged in the 14th century during the trials of the Knights Templar, when the order was accused of heresy for worshipping Baphomet as a demonic idol. It was reimagined by 19th century occultists amidst renewed debate over the suppression of the Templars. Oh, okay. But yeah, what about the... So it was, the name Baphomet appeared in a July 1008. God, I can't read numbers. 1098 in a letter about the siege of Antioch by the French crusader Anselm of Ribemont. No idea. As the next day dawned, they called loudly upon Baphomet. No, that doesn't say Baphomet. That says Baphomet. Baphomet. That sounds like a cool new flavor of meth. And you cook it in a bath. Bath meth. We prayed silently in our hearts to God, and then we attacked and forced all of them outside the city walls. Okay. All right. Well, they called upon Baphomet, and they prayed to God. That's fine. You're allowed to call people who aren't God. All right. I guess I got to make this a little bit smaller so it's easy to see. How about that? He was allegedly worshipped as a deity by the medieval order of Knights Templar. That would be so odd. That would be so odd to join a, order, like a Christian crusade kind of order, and you're like, yeah, I'm here to help whatever pilgrims go to Jerusalem. And then they're like, great. And you're Christian? Awesome. Okay, wear your thing. You're covered in crosses. Amazing. And then you get far enough in the organization, they're like, okay, so here's the deal. We're actually not Christian. We're freaking, we worship Baphomet. And we got this crazy old mummified head that we also worship. It's kind of like the Gnostics. The Gnostics, they sort of pretend to be Christian, but then once you get into the church, they're like, okay, check it out. We worship a chicken-headed, snake foot thing. All right, that is the guy that created the universe. I forget his name, but he's a chicken head. He's got chicken head, and he's got skinny snake legs. He's like a little snake mermaid or something. That's crazy, you know? Like, imagine if you, could join my Patreon, and then, you get to the certain level of Patreon, and I'm like, okay, actually, this is not a Patreon for Chill Goblin. It's actually a Patreon for the fucking Try Guys. All right? This is where actually all your money has been going there, and you are actually a big fan of the Try Guys, and that's what we're going to do. That would be nuts. I should do that. Anyway, sorry. So getting so distracted here. The name of Baphomet, yada, yada, yada. But does it say anything about this? About who's Baphomet back then? Sorry, this is just kind of interesting, but it comes up in several of these dubious confessions. In the provinces, they had idols, heads, some of which had 3 faces, others but one. Sometimes it was a human skull. That in their assemblies, and especially their grand chapters, they worshipped the idol as a god, as their savior, saying that this head could save them, that it bestowed on the order all its wealth, made the trees flower, and the plants of the earth to sprout forth. Ooh. Weird. Very, very weird. A heathen idol head known as a Baphomet, Baphomet equals Mahomet, which is what? Oh, it's an Arab religious, military, and political leader and the founder of, Mahomet. Muhammad. Mahomet. Baphomet. Mahomet. Muhammad. Is that where Baphomet comes from? It's like a kind of a weird corruption of Muhammad. Cool, good to know. Others who confessed under torture described it as being a severed head. Okay, so Baphomet originally was like some kind of a severed head. Oh, is this where we... No, this is the 19th century occultists when they started using Baphomet to be, devil stuff. Anyway, all right, interesting. Continue on, Jiang.
Important is that they would go on to create the Protestant Revolution, the Protestant Reformation, as well as the Standard Revolution. They conspired.
Oh, yeah? Okay. After Dark Myths podcast did an amazing episode of the Knights Templar, ending with their modern presence in the U.S. Cool. I'll check that out. Bibbidi bip bop bip. I gotta check this. After Dark. Cool.
To create the American Revolution, as well as the French Revolution. Basically, they create modernity itself. They came to control England and create the Bank of England, which create the modern financial system.
Is that right? Wait, what? Seriously? They created the Bank of England? Okay, don't see anything on Wikipedia about it. There was an early form of banking, may have been the first use of bank checks. I don't see anything here about how they started the Bank of England. Let me just double check that. Knights Templar Bank of England. That's where my Prime Minister used to work. The Knights Templar operated the world's first bank during the Crusades. The warrior monks who invented banking. Like, they invented, like, bank checks. I don't see anything. Okay. A cursory glance. I don't know if any of you guys who have recently listened to a podcast about these dudes can clarify. I don't think it's correct to say they started the Bank of England.
Today. Then they went on to create World War I, which led to World War II, and now they're
conspiring. They went on to create World War I. Okay, all right, sure. Yeah. So they killed Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and that was actually a conspiracy by a group called, I think they're called the Black Hand, right? They're the guys that killed Ferdinand. So I guess the Black Hand was for sure the new version of the Knights Templar.
World War III, which would then usher in.
So they also created World War III? That ain't right. That ain't true. That didn't even happen yet. What do you mean World War III?
A new world government, okay?
New world government. Okay, now we're getting there. Okay, this guy. Last time it took like an hour to get to like the crazy part. He's already full Alex Jones. 3 minutes in. New World Order. World War III.
World government.
Sorry, I just got to let this guy talk for a little bit.
Based in Jerusalem, and it will be controlled by an AI surveillance state. And that's why we're seeing data centers being built all around the world. Okay? People also speculate that the Knights Templars were able to continue because they had access to secrets. Basically, how to communicate with demons, okay? Interdimensional demons.
Cool. Sick.
Or Lucifer. And to communicate with demons, you have to make contracts with them through ritual sacrifice. And then what they do is they can take possession of you and offer you secrets. For example, how to live forever, or how to be young forever, or how to build great technology. Okay? They can also tell you how to build nuclear weapons. And so people speculate that the entire point of the one world government and the AI surveillance state is to bring into our world these interdimensional beings so that the elite can live forever, so they can combine with the elite. There are also people who speculate that the Knights Templars go all the way back to Rome.
Okay, so not only does he just not really know the history of the Knights Templar, he doesn't even know what they're not called the Knights Templars. It's just the Knights Templar. It's like one of those weird like plurals where the first part is pluralized, like the Brothers Grimm or Surgeons General. You know, it's not Knights Templars. It's Knight. No, fuck. Now I'm fucking up. Knights Templar.
And the 13 families, which then became part of Venice. Okay, so there.
Yeah, he has totally lost me by this point, but all right.
Many different permutations to this conspiracy theory about how the world works. Now, there are lots and lots of issues.
We'd love to see citations for this. We'd love to see citations. I mean, I've heard some of this stuff. Like, yeah, Knights Templar, there are a lot of conspiracy theories about them. They're a secret society, you know, people have a lot of theories. But, like, his sources, like, he is a lot more pilled than I thought. He's a lot more pilled than I thought. Like, his sources, like, you know, not even Alex Jones, but, like, the fucking books written by the weirdos that Alex Jones has on his show. You know, like I would love to take a look at this guy's bookshelf.
With this conspiracy theory about how the world works. Okay. First of all, there's absolutely no evidence. That any of this is true.
Okay.
We don't know if.
Wow. All right. So he does a 5-minute history lecture being completely like, this is what happened. The Knights Templar started World War I and II. They started the Bank of England. They did that. Blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, psych, I tricked you. That is not what happened. And at least we don't have proof of it. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Maybe he's not as pilled as I thought.
Demons actually exist. There's actually no evidence that demons exist. There's no evidence that this is a giant conspiracy that stretched back, 1,000 years.
Okay.
Okay? Second thing is, the elite don't know that this is true. Okay? The people believe this is true, but if you actually go talk to people who have real power, they think this is complete and utter nonsense.
Okay.
And the third thing about this is that it's anti-historical, meaning that it is a very simplified version of how things work. It doesn't take into
anti-historical?
Account other factors as well. Also, what we learn in this class is game theory. And this is also anti-game theory. Because one thing that you learn in this class is that when people are in power, they become arrogant, hubris. They become stupid. So it's very common for powerful people to rise and then have a spectacular fall, okay? That's just the iron law of history. So for these reasons, we know this theory is not true. At the same time, there are certain
I wouldn't say that like when people rise, they have a spectacular fall is an iron law of history. It's more of like an iron law of like a 3-act structure of a movie. You know what I mean? It's like if a guy is doing really, really well in Act 1 and even Act 2, the Act 3 break is something bad's gonna happen.
Things about this theory that are very compelling. Okay? So let's go over some of them. Well, the first thing about this theory that's compelling is that it is very intuitive.
Is it?
What intuitive just means is that if I tell it to someone, it makes sense to that person. It makes a lot more sense than the history that we're taught in school.
Does it?
That's kind of strange, right? None of this is correct, but it's intuitive. Second of all, is that it's explanatory. In that it helps even.
No evidence of demons? Is he watching TV or reading the news any day of the week? Yeah. It means Knights of Temple. Yeah, it's because they were all about like the Temple Mount or whatever, right? In Jerusalem, is that what it's called? It's an iron trend, maybe. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's the iron trope.
Mm-hmm. Even though this is not factual, it does help us understand how the world works. It's a very clear explanation. The third thing that is the most paradoxical is that
he's like writing these numbers just like on top of the shit he's already written. Like, can you guys see that? Like, he's like, 1, no evidence. 2, elite. 3, what is it again? Historical. 4, anti-game theory. And like now over here, he's just in the middle of the board writing over top of this stuff he's already written, but in a different color. So at least you can kind of read it.
It is predictive.
Intuitive,
meaning
predictive.
It helps us predict how things will turn out in the future. And so even though the elite think this is all insane, and there's no way they're plotting to create World War III. There's absolutely no way that they're trying to create an AI surveillance state and create a one world government. Chances are these things will happen. Okay? So this creates a huge paradox. How is it that this is not factual? Okay? This is not at all factual, but it is truthful. Meaning it gives us tremendous insight into how the world works. All right? So this is a paradox. This is all nonsense, but it helps us predict the future. So it's truthful. So what I'm going to do now is
you know what? I don't even really disagree with this. The way that like conspiracy theories, even if they're false, they can help people to understand the world in a way. In the sense, like, it's like my whole thing that I'm always saying on here that conspiracy theories should be thought of as satire or as like a mythological, story, like a just so explanation of how the world works, where it's like, it's not true, but maybe it'll help you. Maybe there's something useful in it. It's like a bedtime story for children where you're like, oh, stay out of the dark woods. And what's her name? Little Red Riding Hood talked to a stranger in the forest, and he turned out to be evil. It's like, it's not a true story, but it teaches some lessons, and in this way, even the most unhinged, pilled conspiracy theory, it can be helpful to people, and it can be helpful to like the powerful or people who want large groups of people to understand them in a certain way and to go after a certain thing. Hey, Donald Trump, he wasn't able to say that Obama is from an inferior race that makes him unqualified, but he could just make up, oh, he's actually born in Kenya. We got to see the birth certificate, which gets across much of the same message without the like overt racism. I mean, arguably, but less overt than saying he's an inferior race, so he shouldn't be allowed to be president. You know what I mean? Like pretty much all conspiracy theories are like that in some form, like a satire or like a just so story. I think that's true.
Explain to you how the system really works, okay? So the main thing you need to understand is that this is metaphorical.
And the other kind of conspiracy theories are the ones that are real. I should also mention that. Sometimes they are just investigative journalism.
Metaphorical. It is not literal. Okay? So what I'm going to try to do now is try to factually explain to you
I'm on board.
How the world works, okay? And what you will see is that this is a metaphor.
Okay, now he's going to factually explain how the world works. Great.
Metaphorical explanation for how the world works. It's a good story that people can understand and help them appreciate the nuance of this world. But now I'm going to tell you how it works literally.
Okay.
Okay?
Great. I can't wait for this.
So,
watch this one be even more crazy.
First thing I'm going to explain to you.
All right. How many of you guys know about lizard people? Hands in the air, hands in the air. Reptiles, reptilians, reptilian overlords? Yes. Now, do they come from outer space, or have they are they an ancient race older than us that was forced underground for a time until they took over our elite governments? Well, the real history
is that there are people in this world, they're mystics, they're occultists.
Okay,
and they spend all their time
trying that we're starting with this.
Figure out how the universe works. Okay, they're trying to uncover the secrets of the universe.
Okay,
and there are different secrets, right? There's astrology.
Yeah.
Okay. The movement of stars.
All right, we're going to tell you the real history of the world. First, the occultists.
Different people's fate. Okay, the idea of astrology. Then you have alchemy, how to turn nothing into gold, how to turn lead into gold. Then you have eschatology. Eschatology is how the world will end. What's the point of the universe? When will God come to the earth? Okay? And you have sacred geometry. Think of sacred geometry as like particle physics, which is the underlying essence of the universe. Okay? So occultists, and these could be poets.
Okay, listen, I like sacred geometry just because it's like gives you some trippy stuff to look at. But this is what he's saying. Oh yeah. Think of this as particle physics. Okay. Oh, this is particle physics? Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Physics. Oh, this is AI, huh? Fuck. You can tell from the weird way the lines go. Oh, man. AI's ruining fucking image search results. But like, this shit's cool. Like, hey, I'm never going to clown on sacred geometry. It looks cool. I would get a little, big tapestry piece of cloth with this shit up on it and hang it up in like every room in the house if Goblin Queen would allow me, If Goblin Queen wouldn't immediately call this some white people shit and like rip them all down and burn them, I would love to hang this stuff up everywhere. It's cool. Whoa, what's this one? Whoa, cool. Whoa, what? Metatron. The Metatron. Nice. Some Kabbalah stuff. Anyway, but okay, sorry. No, according to Professor Jiang, you can think of that as, what did you say, particle physics?
Geometry as like particle physics,
Yeah,
which is the underlying essence of the universe. Okay, so
geometry is just cool in general, for sure. But if like, how many people, like, if you were supposed to, if you're like, all right, let me explain how the world works. How many of you would start with like, all right, we've got astrology, alchemy, like eschatology, sacred geometry, like none of these things would come in to my explanation of how the world works. So I can't wait to see where he goes with this.
And these could be poets, philosophers, mystics. They spend all their time thinking about what is the fundamental truth of the universe. And then there are people, okay, who seek power, wealth, and fame.
Okay.
All right?
Sure.
And what they recognize is that if they really want to seek power, wealth, and fame, they need to know these secrets as well.
Really?
So what happens is that they form secret societies in order to access these secrets of astrology, alchemy, eschatology, and sacred geometry, and then implement it in the world in order to create power, wealth, and influence for themselves. Okay, does that make sense?
No.
The thing to understand is that
no, in no way does that make sense at all. I don't think you need to know alchemy and sacred geometry or eschatology or astrology to become powerful, wealthy, or famous. No. What you're saying makes zero sense. Actually, the thing earlier that you said was not literally true makes more sense about the Knights Templar. The Knights Templars. This is actually weirder.
There are many different occultists, many different secret societies, and this all creates very different combinations. Okay, but they're all trying to do the same thing, which is trying to achieve an eschatology. All right? The third element is that you need certain individuals.
Right. Sacred geometry was Platoism. Look into the cult of Plato. Yeah, that's true, right? There was some interesting kind of like culty stuff with was it cult of Plato or Pythagoras? Was that was it cult of Plato thing? So was that like Pythagoras, right? Pythagoreanism. But it's like they were right, weirdly. Based on and around the teachings and beliefs held by Pythagoras and his followers, the Pythagoreans. Pythagoras, yeah. Interesting. Cool. All right. Yeah. So these guys were like sacred geometry, but at least they were finding like fundamental mathematical truths, right? Like that's cool as hell. Yeah, not a lot of religions can say that they did this. Can say that they're like, yeah, hey, maybe we didn't get everything right, about the afterlife and the nature of existence, but we did figure out like a bunch of genuinely very useful shit about the hypotenuse. Like that's pretty good. That's pretty good. The Buddhists, they got meditation. Meditation's like a useful thing with like, scientific value. Christianity, like what? Christianity really have anything like this. So good for them. Good for them. What even is this? What the hell is this? How did they even know about this stuff before they had 3D modeling?
Individuals, in order to propel society forward, in order to achieve the eschatology of the secret societies, okay? And these people are like agents that the secret societies sponsor. And historically, these people included Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Hitler, Stalin. Today we have Trump and Putin. Okay?
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Trump would never have been where he is today without eschatology, sacred geometry, alchemy, and astrology. You know? First thing Trump did when he got to the Oval Office was make a big salt circle so that Hillary Clinton couldn't come in. Couldn't enter. He's like, all right, now, Sagittarius Joe Biden. We call him Sagittarius Joe. What's the sign that's like the worst one? What's the one that is like objectively? There's one of the zodiac signs is like objectively worse than the other ones, right? Like, oh, if it isn't Pisces Hillary. Oh, we love Pisces Hillary, don't we, folks? Oh, look at that. We've got this photo blown up of, like whatever. Check out, we've got this picture of the loony radical leftist AOC and her weak love line. Okay, these palms, folks, you've never seen palms like this. Really, really bad stuff. You know what I'm talking about. It's funny to imagine witchy Trump.
All right, so these are agents or maybe messianic figures or even scapegoats the secret societies promote in order to push forward a particular agenda. All right, and remember that it looks.
They're messianic figures or even scapegoats. How can it be both of those things? I mean, I suppose Jesus was a scapegoat in that he died for our sins. All right.
Simple, but it's not, because there are different occultists with different ideas, and then there are different.
Scorpio, Gemini? Oh, everyone has a different one. Okay. Virgo, Gemini, or people hate or love Scorpios? Okay. Yeah, all right.
Societies are competing against each other, and they're promoting different.
Yeah, I realized when I was doing that, trying to do that Trump thing. I don't know enough about horoscopes to make that riff work, but imagine if I did. That would have been how funny that would have been.
Individuals in order to achieve their particular vision. All right. What drives these individuals, like Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Hitler, Stalin, Trump, and Putin, is that they themselves believe that they're the real sons of God. Okay, they're the true Messiah who's going to lead the world forward. And the secret societies, these occultists, are just useful idiots. Okay? So this is one framework for understanding the movement of history.
So these guys genuinely think that they're the son of God, and yet they're actually being used by some secret society as a useful idiot, figurehead, scapegoat. Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to go much more specific. Okay? All right.
Please.
So there's another way to frame this, which is to say that in the world, in society, there are different groupings, okay? So think of politics. Think of finance.
Oh.
Science.
Okay.
Religion. Military. Okay? Now, the thing about each of these different fields or disciplines is that you have a diversity, a range of behavior with different belief systems. Okay?
What?
So each of these different disciplines have their own diverse fields of belief.
Okay.
At a particular point, there's a convergence amongst these different fields. Okay?
Yeah.
What makes them converge is the fact that in each field, you have certain individuals, an extreme minority, who seek power, order, and control. Okay? So again, in each field, you're gonna have a range. And on one extreme version are those who hate power, but on the other extreme version are those who love power. Okay? And those
yes.
and people who love power, order, and control of all these different fields are going to come together and they're going to work together in order to achieve power, order, control. And we call these people secret societies.
We do? Oh my God.
Okay? Because they're bounded by a similar interest. Now, what's really interesting is...
So all right, let me see if I got this right. We got this pretty flower sort of Venn diagram of all the different, I guess, elite disciplines: finance, politics, religion, science, and something else. And they each within them have a range. And at first I was like, a range like an Overton window type thing, like the spectrum of acceptable thought. No, it's a range from those who don't want power and those who do want power. Which, I mean, okay, all right. So then, there are some people who don't want power. And then, but if you, once you want enough power, then you cross over into the convergence area. And what do we call that? A secret society. And it's like, no, you can't just want power and then become part of a secret society. There's a much more, I imagine, in-depth vetting process. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of people who really want power who aren't part of a secret society. You know, I'm sure there's also people who are in secret societies who don't want power. They've just been kind of like, oh, all right, well, I've been invited into the Illuminati, and it would be kind of rude for me to say no.
It's that
like this makes no sense. This is actually more insane than the thing he said at the beginning with the Knights Templar. He was like, no, this is not true. No, this is not true. There's no proof of it. But let me tell you, the world really, this is worse. This is worse.
Time, as society becomes much more larger, these different fields expand in size, creating greater diversity.
Okay.
And what happens is that this convergence becomes much stronger in society. And the reason
you think he plans these out, or is he legitimately making it up as he goes along? Like, I get like improv vibes from this. I get just like stream of consciousness. Like, I don't think he knew where he was going with these circles that have a convergence. Like, first of all, this isn't how Venn diagrams work. Like, I really wonder. I would love to see his lesson plans.
Why is that these different fields are not able to coordinate together, but the people inside this convergence are able to coordinate together, which gives them a huge advantage in society. Okay, which means that they're able to achieve power, order, and control much more likely. Okay, so what's interesting is that as society declines, because it's become much more bureaucratic, much too large, much too corrupt. These societies, in fact, become much more powerful over time because they're able to stay much more cohesive. Okay. Now, once these secret societies are formed, what you'll discover is that there are a huge number of these different secret societies. Okay, and different.
I love how he says secret societies. Like, secret societies. He says it really fast. Secret societies. Okay.
Individual can.
Oh, Jiang is much louder than me. Okay. Let me. Thank you for that. Let me just fix that up a little bit. 1 sec.
Join different secret societies, and these secret societies can come from the fact that they went to a certain school. Or they grew up in a certain religion.
Oh shit! Did I have double audio on there for a second? For the entire stream so far?
Are the families? Okay, there's different combinations, and these secret societies are in competition with each other. And so, the criteria for the competition are three things. Okay, legitimacy, authority, and unity, cohesion. Okay? Why are you more legitimate than other secret societies?
How's that?
Why do you have more authority?
Are we more equal now? I think that maybe fixed it.
Expertise than other secret societies. Why are you much more unified than other secret societies? Okay. To solve this problem, what the secret societies will do is they will go back in time and reimagine history to show that they are connected with the entirety of history. Okay. So what they'll say is
now this is actually true. So this is interesting. The way that the secret societies do this, what he's saying, there is a thing where it's okay. How to explain? There's sort of like two different groups that both try to rewrite history and make secret societies seem bigger than they are. Number one is the secret societies themselves. When you start a secret society, you never want it to be like hey, I just started it in 2026. It's a brand new, the newest secret conspiracy society that exists. Yep. It's like our generations. It's the Gen Z Illuminati. Like you never want to start it like that. You always want to, when you start a secret society, much better to be like, oh, and it's been around since the year 600 BC. And only the greatest people in history have been a member. And now I'm asking you. And you're definitely not the first person I've asked. And I definitely have a lot of cool friends, but I can't show you them because they're secret too. Like that is a thing that has happened, like recurring times throughout history. Secret societies have lied to their own members about how old they are. And then the other group that tries to, rewrite history about them are the people who hate and fear the secret society. They will always be like, oh, don't you get it? The Masons are 10,000 years old. They'll take any secret society and they will also like add on to that mythology. And they both groups it's useful to them. It's useful to their own ends that everyone thinks that the secret society is old. And they sort of help each other in that way, weirdly, even though they are obviously like enemies. So what he's saying here is true. That is a common thing with secret societies.
With the entirety of history. Connect history to show that they are connected with the entirety of history. Okay? So what they'll say is, okay, well, we got to start not today in our school, but because we're connected to the Freemasons, or they're connected to the Knights Templars, okay? So they go back and create a cosmology.
Yep, that is true.
That explains their origins. And obviously, the further you go back in time, the more legitimate, the more authoritative you are. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, so they're going to go back and they're going to create their own history. And that's why people think that they stretch all the way back to Rome. Okay, or maybe Babylon. And what allows for people to believe that this is continuous is the fact that the elites in each particular time behave the same way, which is they're all seeking power, order, and control. And those who win out have three particular characteristics, okay? First of all, these are people who are addicted to...
Sorry, I'm trying to find this book that I read. It's quite good, but I can't find it. It's like I think it's just called A History of Secret Societies or something, but it's like an illustrated book. Is it The Real History of Secret Societies? No. Shoot. Okay. Maybe I have it wrong. But it's really interesting. It goes through like a whole bunch of secret societies and how they're all formed. And you start to see a lot of parallels. Like a lot of secret societies are just like people who, university students who like getting drunk together and decide to create like a fun little thing like the Skull and Bones. I mean, to be honest, I was in a secret society when I was in university. We were called the Order of Leisure, and we only invited in people who were the most leisurely people who liked to party and didn't didn't care that much about like studying and learning. This is true, by the way. This was an actual thing. We had a secret chant that we did. We had an induction ceremony every year where we would like gather at a temple. There was like a temple at our university that any religion could use, but we would gather outside the temple in the middle of the night and we would induct people. The leader had a staff called the Staff of Leisure that was like a big wooden staff. It looked really cool, and it also had like a fucking like weed pipe inside of it, so you could smoke weed out of it. And it was sick. And then we would kind of like, the person who was the bearer of the Staff of Leisure would have to go to every party and bring the staff. And then we would have a thing where one of the other members of the order would steal the staff and like hide it somewhere and like do like crazy things with it. It was a good time, you know? It's a good time. I remember the Staff of Leisure had its own Facebook page. I'm not supposed to be telling you guys any of this. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I can't find any of it. But yeah, there's that. There's that's a big portion of secret societies are just like drunk, young adults. Another big portion is like repressed religions that have to lie and say, no, we're not that religion. What do you mean? No, we're the good religion, like the Gnostics. There's like some of that are almost like unions. Like the Freemasons were sort of like a union. Like there's almost like a Masons, a builders union, that became, much more than that. But okay, I don't know. Illustrated, I thought I could find this. But this is where I am getting my thing about how like they all lie about how old they are, and like where I know a lot of what I know about secret societies. Yeah, this is so theater kid coded. Gob did not kill himself moment. No, yeah, none of us have any power. Yeah, not a great secret society to join if you want to like affect change in the world. It's like, yes, I'm part of a very elite group of guys who did not really have that much ambition, but could smoke a really big bong toke. If only that could be what led us to have control, elite level control over the stagnating masses.
Power. They obsess about it. They're obsessive about it. They will do everything possible in order to obtain more power. And
see, that was not us.
Power is expansive and all-consuming, okay? Meaning they cannot stop but try to obtain more power. They behave in a way that looks as though they are possessed by demons. Okay? And in fact, they do worship demons. And the reason why is they think they worship all gods in a search for reason. Okay? They are looking for the greatest secrets of the universe, so they are open-minded. They are looking for all possibilities. They'll worship Lucifer, but they also worship Baphomet. They worship Osiris. They worship Isis. Okay? So now...
It's interesting because, like, this is such a thing that Christians do. I'm assuming Jiang's a Christian, but, like, you don't have to be a Christian to do this. But it is very, I guess it's sort of like Western-centric to be like, okay, there's two types of religions. There's the Abrahamic religions, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever, Moses, Old Testament, New Testament, Quran. That's one type of religion. And then there's occult shit. And that's just every other type of religion or mythology or tradition. That's occult shit. And so he's naming there, he's like, like Lucifer. Now Lucifer being the bad guy in the Abrahamic religions. Baphomet being like a made up thing from the Knights Templar trials. And Osiris and Isis, those are two Egyptian gods from the Egyptian religion. But if you were, mythology, if you were in Egypt and you believed in Osiris and Isis during ancient Egypt, that would not be a cult. That would be a very open thing. If you believe in Osiris and Isis today, yeah, that's a little weird. That's a little unusual. But this is how it goes, right? It's like there's a lot of terms that Christians use as if they have meaning. It's like occult religions, pagan religions. Pagan, again, that just means not Christian, So I think it's interesting.
We understand how the world works literally. Throughout history, the elites have behaved the same way. Okay? And even though these elites are fighting with each other, they are moving forward an agenda that consolidates power onto the hands of a few people, which gives the impression that this is all a continuous agenda controlled by a few people. Okay? Does it all make sense, guys? All right?
No.
So remember, this is the metaphorical understanding of how the world works.
Uh-huh.
A world controlled by a particular secret society. The Knights Templars, who became the Freemasons, who then became the Illuminati, who control the world today, and they're trying to usher in a one world government, an AI surveillance state, and summon demons into this world in order to live forever, okay? So
yeah, simple as that, guys. Simple as that.
This is the grand...
Remember, this is supposed to be about AI. Remember, we're 20 minutes into the hour-long lecture about AI.
Conspiracy. But again, it doesn't explain why we have no evidence, why the elite don't think they're part of this, and why this is anti-historical, okay? But once we transform this into a literal explanation, and this is the literal explanation.
Oh, this is the literal explanation.
This explains everything.
I love it.
The elite don't think this is a conspiracy because they're too busy fighting each other.
This guy's awesome.
At the grand scheme of things. Whereas the people who are not involved in this game can look at the movement history and can come to an intuitive understanding of how this thing moves. And it's moving towards more control, more order, and more power. Okay?
Like, I actually really liked the way he introduced it with the silly Freemasons to Illuminati thing or whatever, Knights Templar to Illuminati thing. And then he was like, now this is not true. This is just a story that's like comforting and maybe even useful, blah, 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 blah. Let's go into the real shit. I liked that. But I would say the same thing about this. I would say this is also obvious bullshit, but it maybe would help someone, I don't know, at least feel like they had an understanding of how the world works and maybe would allow them to function within it in a way where they sort of understood the elites and they were correctly afraid of the surveillance state and they were correctly afraid of the rising fucking, tsunami of international business expansion and blah, 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 blah. But this is not a literal explanation of how the world works. It just isn't.
And this helps us explain why the system persists, even though the elites will rise and they will fall. Because these elites are already in competition with each other. So what's happening is that certain elites are replacing other elites, but they all have the same agenda, which is more power, more order, more control. Okay, does it make sense, guys?
No.
Okay? And that's why we actually read the texts of these secret societies, of these thinkers. They look as though they are building on top of each other, even though they probably have not read each other, okay? People who seek power...
Has Jiang been on Rogan?
...are very much alike. They're different from you and me in that they're probably psychopaths, okay? All they care about is power, and so powerful people come together in order to create more power for themselves. Okay, does it make sense, guys? Okay, so now...
No, I'm looking it up now. I don't think he's been on Rogan. He's been on InfoWars, though.
We're going to go over the evidence, okay? So what
Oh, wow, okay. He was on InfoWars 6 days ago. Whoa. Not InfoWars, I guess, but... Wait. Was that... I'm confused. No, never mind. Never mind. I don't know what this is.
What I want to first do is discuss this man. His name is Albert Pike.
Okay.
And he was born in 1809, 1891. And why he's important is that he's considered the grand architect of American Freemasonry. Why American Freemasonry is important is that it's the people who control the American government. 1/3 of all American presidents were Freemasons. Okay? And these people today control the American military, the national security apparatus, the CIA, the FBI. All right? They're not called the Freemasons, but they go back to the Freemasons. So they share the similar ideas of the Freemasons. So Albert Pike was one of the major leaders of the American Freemasons, and he's considered the grand architect, meaning that he built the system and the ideas that underpin modern-day American Freemasonry today. His most important work is called Morals and Dogma. And it's basically the standard textbook of American Freemasonry, okay? So we're going to look at a few passages from Morals and Dogma. And I know they're a bit long, but it's very important for us to understand how they think, okay? So I'm going to read the first part, and then Alan, if you can help me read this part, okay? So I'll read the first part.
Alan's back.
Ashlar, okay, this is the Ashlar, guys, which is a stone, is a people as a mass, rude and unorganized. So society is diverse, it's chaotic, and we, the Freemasons, our objective in life is to create order out of chaos. The perfect Ashlar, okay, or typical stone, symbol of perfection, is the state. The purpose of government is to create order out of chaos, to perfect humanity. The rulers deriving their powers from the consent of the governed, the Constitution and law speaking the will of the people. The government, harmonious, symmetrical, efficient, its powers properly distributed and duly adjusted in equilibrium. Okay, so think of society as a forest. No, a forest is chaotic. There are diseases in a forest. It could burn down. What we really want to do is create a temple of stone that is perfect, that is eternal, that is divine. Okay, we want to burn down the forest and build a temple with our bare hands. I know God was the one who created the forest, but God willed us to perfect his work. If we delineate a cube on a plane surface, okay, we have visible 3 faces and 9 external lines drawn between 7 points. The complete cube has 3 more faces, making 6, 3 more lines, making 12, and 1 more point, making 8. As the number 12...
That's funny. This is supposed to be the Freemasons, right? Their explanation of the world. And of course, they're like, oh, yeah, it's like a brick. The Masons. It's like a guy who's only seen bricks, seeing his first order of human society. Oh, I'm getting a lot of brick vibes from this. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, this is their explanation. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You know? It's like how, like AI guys look at shit and they're like, oh, this is exactly how the fucking AI works. Oh, this is how everything's like AI. Everything's a LLM.
Includes the sacred numbers 3, 5, 7, and 3 times 3, or 9, is produced by adding the sacred number 3 to 9, while its own 2 figures, 1 to the unit of or monad and duad, added together make the same sacred number 3. It was called the perfect number, and the cube became a symbol of perfection, okay? So this is God. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create God on earth.
Did his pen stop working? I didn't see anything there. The rough ashlar is the people as a mass, rude and unorganized.
And how do we know it's God? Because it is perfection itself. How do we know it's perfection? Because of mathematics, geometry, okay? Geometry is a language of God. Once you understand geometry, you understand how God thinks. So the cube is perfect, so we want to turn society into a cube. In fact, we want to turn everyone into a cube. And how do we do so?
They are trying to crush you into a cube. The Masons want to put you in one of those Wall-E robots, make you into a cube, and then build a little igloo out of you.
Artificial intelligence, guys, okay?
Oh, now we finally get to it. Okay, they're going to use AI to squish you into a cube. All right.
Artificial intelligence. Okay, all right. So again, so the idea is we want to read them in order to understand the essence of their thinking. Okay, so let's now move on, okay? Yeah. Can you read, Alan?
Yeah, Django Fett. He really needed to write down geometry. He always just writes down like a random word that he's saying. It's like, okay. It's like a middle of word in a sentence. He's like, and that's why we call it, and he'll write down call. Like it's not, it's like, okay, geometry equals AI. Like these notes would be completely useless without the lecture. If you miss a lecture and you're like, oh, did you take down any notes? And you're like, I did, but they won't make any sense. Sorry. Sorry, you're going to have to watch the full thing.
Nevertheless,
this guy, whoever's on camera this week, is putting in work. We got a cinematographer on our hands here. We got move, we got pan, we got zoom. We got those 2 things.
Masonry, which is morality and philosophy, must not cease to do its duty. We never know at what moment success awaits our efforts. Generally, when most unexpected, nor with...
Wait, sorry. Did he say what this is? Is this something that the Masons wrote, or is this somebody writing about them? Oh, with our efforts. Okay, so this must be written by them. Okay.
What expect or efforts are or are not to be attended. Succeed or fail. Masonry must not...
What the heck? Okay, I can't even... Nor with what effect our efforts are or are not to be attended. We never know at what moment success awaits our efforts, generally when most unexpected, nor with what effort our efforts are or are not to be attended. Jesus, that is a tongue twister. Sorry about that, Alan. Let's hear Alan read that one more time, just for fun.
Generally, when most unexpected, nor with what expect or efforts are or are not to be attended.
Oh, he actually nailed
Succeed
it.
or fail.
He actually nailed it. My bad. I thought he stumbled over that. Nope. First time. One take, Alan.
Masonry must not bow to arrow or succumb under discouragement. There was at Rome a few Carthaginian soldiers taken prisoners who refused to bow to Flaminius and had little of Hannibal's magnanimity.
All right, I'm sorry, Alan. I'm going to skip through your whole thing. I don't really care. Masons should possess an equal greatness of soul. Morality is faith in full bloom. Contemplation should lead to action, the absolutely practical. Just a bunch of fucking whatever. This is how philosophy becomes religion. Yada, yada, yada. You get it. Mason shit.
That philosophy become religion.
Okay, so Freemasonry is the ultimate religion. Why? Because it encompasses all...
It's the ultimate religion now. Not only is it arguably not a religion, it's actually the ultimate religion. It is the only religion. You know? This is the main one.
Previous religions, including Egyptian Hermetism, okay? Including the Greek mystery cults of Pythagoras.
Hey, we got Pythagoras
including
in
the
there.
Kabbalah. Okay, so it has scoured the entire history and found the best ideas of humanity and put them together.
Is there Kabbalah shit in there? Is there Kabbalah shit in Freemasonry? Is that box supposed to be like the Metatron or something? The Ashlar or whatever? Are there any Kabbalah crossover with Freemasonry? I don't know if that's the case. Kabbalah, Freemasonry. The Kabbalah and Freemasonry. Okay, this is a thing from an official Grand Lodge, which is the Masons, right? Freemasons. Rooted in the ancient Egyptian mysteries, 3 different versions of basically the same teachings can be identified by 3 different spellings. Kabbalah, Kabbalah, and Kabbalah. Essentially Jewish mystical or esoteric school. The word comes from Hebrew meaning to receive. Okay, I don't know about all this. This is just a page on a like, what is this? Is this here we go. Those who claim, so this is from an official Freemason website. So bear in mind, this is like their public facing stuff. Maybe on the inside they're a little different, but those who claim Kabbalistic roots for Freemasonry are of 2 widely different perspectives. The first group are generally religious fundamentalists who a priori condemn Freemasonry, Judaism, and the Kabbalah as being anti-Christian and often equate the whole with Satanism. They will make such accusations as Freemasonry and the New World Order are Nazism revived, that one key ritual in Freemasonry involves drinking from human skulls, and Freemasonry is the instrument created to carry out this return to paganism. They also quote out of context from Albert Pike's, all right, here we go, Morals and Dogma. All the Masonic associations owe to it their secrets and their symbols. The claim that Freemasonry is divided into 2 branches. There's the branch of the Scottish Rite and the branch of the Shriners. Scottish Freemasonry is the Christian branch. Shriners are actually the Islamic branch. They do wear those little hats. The Prophecy Institute in Keene, Texas will, for a donation of $26, inform you of what is the Kabbalah and how it influences today's governments. To anyone who has made an objective study of either Freemasonry or the Kabbalah, these accusations and claims are patently ridiculous. Okay, that's the first group. That's the Professor Jiang group, I think. The second group is comprised of Freemasons and Kabbalists who promote the theory of Freemasonry's link to the Kabbalah. They are entitled to their opinions, but it must be stressed that they do not speak for Freemasonry. They're only expressing their opinions. They view the study of both as enhancing their relationship with God and have come to some personal conclusions about what they perceive as similarities. Whatever intellectual or spiritual similarities there may be between Freemasonry and the Kabbalah, any historical links are strictly conjectural and unsupported. Yeah, this is my understanding as well. But never mind that. We're listening to the good professor over here. To Stir with Love.
To create Freemasonry.
Actually, no, the Kabbalah and Freemasonry are the same thing.
It has scoured the entire history and found the best ideas of humanity and put them together to create Freemasonry. And the ultimate goal is for each of us to become a stone, stoic, unrelenting, perfect faith. And then if we put all humanity together and we're...
Wait, what are you saying? The Shriners destroy suspension from their charity and little parade go-karts? Sorry, what do you mean? They destroy suspension? I don't know what you mean by that. Look up the Shriners. I know the Shriners. I thought that the Shriners, my understanding was that they're like a pretty decent charity. Like the money that you donate to them tends to go to good causes or whatever. Like they have one of the highest scores, or I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But they are like Masons, right? They're connected to the Masons. I don't know. I could be wrong.
We're all stones. Then we can create the perfect temple of God. Okay, we can create God on earth. So imagine a pyramid. We're all stone in the pyramid, and we all have responsibility to become that stone through faith, through practice, through reflection. Okay. So Socrates should enter into Adam and produce Marcus Aurelius. So the height of humanity is reflection and reason, where we surrender our emotions to geometry. Okay? All right, let's keep on going.
Okay. All right, let's get on.
So does it all make sense so far? All right, let's keep on going.
I'm trying to work on my impression of Jiang. He definitely says, okay. I'm really not there, am I? Okay. But he also kind of like mumbles a lot of his words. Like, okay, so think about secret societies, right? We got secret societies, and they go to the Illuminati and the Freemasons cult. So that's why we have loud marker noise. The secret societies. Okay. So.
All right. Can you read Alan?
Oh, Alan.
Man owned it to himself to be free. He owned it to his country to seek to give her freedom or maintain her in that possession.
Sorry, Alan. This is from the Freemasons as well. Man owed it to himself to be free, make tyranny and usurpation the enemies of the human race, created general outlawry of despots and despotisms, blah, 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 free government, free thought, free conscience, free speech, yada, yada, yada. These are all inalienable rights. Unfortunately, as truths always become perverted into falsehoods, this truth became the gospel of anarchy soon after it was first preached. Masonry early comprehended this truth and recognized its own enlarged duties. Its symbols then came to have a wider meaning, but it also assumed the mask of stone masonry and borrowed its working tools, and so was supplied with new and apt symbols. It aided in bringing about the French Revolution. Disappeared with the Girondists. What's that? That sounds familiar. Sorry. What was born again with the restoration of order and sustained Napoleon because, though emperor, he acknowledged the right of the people to select its rulers and was at the head of the nation, refusing to receive back its old kings. Okay. So that's the Masons. And I would guess that's the Masons trying to like kind of hype themselves up and maybe like take some credit for shit that they maybe weren't exactly responsible for.
And made tranny and usurpations the enemies of the human.
Okay. I'm just going to blow past that mispronunciation of tyranny. See, this is okay. We're skipping so much. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait. Did I go too far? Okay. Somehow this is going to get to eschatology. All right.
To receive back its old kings.
Okay, stop. Okay, all right. Okay, great. Okay. So what he's doing, what Albert Pike is doing, is trying to explain the eschatology of Freemasonry, okay? The eschatology is this. We want to create an empire of reason, okay? What he calls a holy empire of reason.
Okay.
And for that, we must create revolutions around the world, okay? And what he's doing is he's trying to say that this is a crusade, and we go back to the time of the Knights Templars. And we were the ones who brought about the French Revolution and created Napoleon in order to achieve this.
It says they sustained Napoleon. It didn't say they created him.
Holy reason of empire. Okay? So what he's doing is he is going back into history and rewriting history to show that the Freemasons were the end point of history, the natural evolution of the Knights Templars. Also, what he's trying to tell people is that we do things in secret because before we were the Knights Templars, the French and the Catholic Church hunted us down. Mm-hmm. So we had to disguise ourselves under stone masonry, okay? So that's why we took the guise of the Freemasons, because the Freemasons were just a workers' guild who built temples. And we took their shape in order to protect ourselves and then to try to promote our mission in secret, okay? All right? So this is why people believe that the Freemasons come from Knights Templars. What this is really doing is it's trying to bring legitimacy and authority to the Freemasons by reimagining history as a movement towards Freemasonry. It doesn't make sense, guys, okay? So he talks about how the Freemasons not only created the French Revolution, but they brought about Napoleon in order to try to create a one world government, okay? And that failed, but if Napoleon failed, don't worry, America will succeed. This is another passage we will not read, but he talks about how the Freemasons actually created conditions for the French Revolution and conspired for generations, for decades, in order to avenge the death of their lost leader, Jacques de Molay, in 1314. Okay? So the Freemasons think centuries ahead, and they plan decades in advance. And again, this is all to create legitimacy.
Obviously, they don't do that. Like, what the fuck?
And authority for...
No one can plan centuries ahead.
Their movement. This is a rewriting of history. None of this is true. Okay? All right, let's continue. All right, can you read, Alan?
The degree of rose is devoted to and symbolize the final triumphs of truth over falsehood.
Oh, God. Okay, I just want to get to the AI stuff. I'm enough of this, like, pseudoscience about fucking, whatever, Masons. All right, what we got over here? Still nothing? Okay, what's this? The subjugation of the human that is in man. What's this book he's reading from? Still nothing about AI, really? Sorry, I'm jumping way ahead here. Okay, well, who we got here? What's this? Who are these guys? Masons, I guess?
To artificial intelligence. I'm not saying that they plan for artificial intelligence.
Let me go back.
Think about it. That's why they want to
golems. Golems. You just wrote the word golems on the board. Okay. All right. Okay. We've got some. We've got something happening here. Let me go back a little bit more. I'm sorry. I'm sure we missed a lot of hilarious parts. Let me go back to the beginning of like where he starts explaining this. He's writing stuff on the Mason symbol there. Okay, this should be far back enough. Sorry, I just skipped like 20 minutes. Hope that's okay with everyone.
Freemasonry, you have to focus on the square, which is your own spiritual alchemy, okay? To discipline yourself, to focus yourself, to learn how to be ruled, okay, by the compass. Then you reach a point where you must rule yourself. So you must teach others how to be disciplined, how to be focused. And then you reach a point when you combine the square and the compass, which is you lead the Freemasons to control the whole world, to create the holy empire of reason. All right?
Okay.
So according to different ranks, you see the symbol in a different way. All right, the G, what does the G stand for? Well, there are 3 different interpretations, okay? It stands for geometry, of course, because of the square and the compass.
Which is, again, geometry. Remember, that is how God thinks. So that's a thought of God.
Stands for God or Gnosticism or Grand Architect, okay?
Narcissism. Okay. What does it actually stand for, though? What does it actually stand for? What's the G? What's the G? G in Mason symbol. What does it stand for? Okay, it does stand for a bunch of things, I guess. The meaning of the letter G, another Mason website. Wow, there's a lot of different Mason websites. Let's unravel. Geometry. Grand Architect. Okay, so he's right. No, that's pretty much are the 2 things that it says here. The great architect of the universe. While Freemasonry does not require the belief of any specific deity, believing in a supreme being is central to membership. There is no Masonic deity, and the term Great Architect of the Universe allows Masons to envision their own interpretation of the divine, combining the letter G with the square and compass, as so often happens. This symbolism highlights the belief that the principles of geometry reflect the divine order of creation and intricate order and harmony seen in nature and the cosmos. Here's George Washington here, and he's got the G in the background, and he's got the Mason bib, what do you call it, a little apron they wear. So it does look a little silly. But yeah, he's in a Masonic lodge here, looks like. You can tell, one of the reasons you can tell is the checkerboard pattern you see over there on the floor. I once went to my friend did a rap battle at a Masonic temple, and I went to that. It was kind of a cool vibe. But yeah, no, I don't know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I guess it's like, yeah, the early, the founding fathers were like deists, I guess, for the most part, where they believed in God enough that they could say that they believed in God, but they were like, it's kind of like a watchmaker or whatever, a clockmaker. God, he built the world and then he set it in motion, and then he kind of fucked off. And he's sort of a hands-off God. He doesn't get involved. So that makes sense, like the great architect of the universe is that sort of conception of God. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I have read the graphic novel From Hell by Alan Moore. And in that one, it says that once you get to a certain degree level of masonry, turns out that they do have a specific God, and it's got like 3 heads, and one of them's a goat head, and one of them's a pig, and one of them's a monster, something like that. I can't remember. Let me see if I can find that real quick. From Hell, Masonic God. So good, by the way. So sick. Yeah, this one. Jabulon. See? That's what I'm talking about. The 3-headed god of the Masons. This is what apparently, according to Alan Moore and what's his name? Eddie Campbell is the artist, I guess. Jabulon. 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 Sorry, I can't keep just saying that word, but I just trust me when I say I really want to. Oh, was one of them a frog head in some interpretations? Spider's legs, and he's on like a checkerboard. All right, cool. Who is Jabulon? Who indeed? Who indeed is Jabulon? Is there Wikipedia? There is. A word historically was used and is allegedly still used in some rituals of royal arc masonry. Okay. According to Masonic historian, the word Jabulon was first used in the 18th century. Early French versions of the Royal Arch Decree relates a Masonic allegory in which Jabulon was the name of an explorer living during the time of Solomon, who discovered the ruins of an ancient temple. Within the ruins, he found a gold plate upon which the name of God, Yahweh, was engraved. In Duncan's Masonic Ritual and Monitor, published in the mid-19th century, Malcolm Duncan used the word as a recognition password in his rendition of the Royal Arch Decree, and in a footnote states that the word is a combination of sacred names. However, there's been controversy regarding Duncan's ritual. According to Turnbull, Everett, and Denslow, Duncan has the candidate swear, "I furthermore promise and swear that I will support the Constitution of the General Grand Royal Arch Chapter of the United States of America," whereas the General Grand Chapter at the time stylized itself the General Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons of the United States. A subtle but significant difference. Wait, is that what? Wait, huh? That seems like not even worth putting in the. They're like, hey, wait a second. He said that we pledge ourselves to the god Jabulon, the three-headed goat, frog, and guy, and for the Grand Royal Arch Chapter of the United States of America. That's not true at all. We pledge ourselves to the goat god, frog head guy, but it's to the General Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons of the United States. Completely different. You got the name wrong, man. Come on, like. According to Francis X. King in the Secret Rituals of the OTO, right? The word is used in 2 rituals of the Ordo Templi Orientis. Oh yeah, that's what OTO is, I guess. The Lodge of Perfection, in which the candidate receives the 4th degree. King prints in his book the lyrics of a song that mentions the word Jabulon. Huh. It's a combination of, here we go. It's a combination of Yahweh, Baal, and On. Who's On? Is On a god? Oh, it's a major city of ancient Egypt. Okay, whatever. On. Jabul-On, and then Steve Knight says On is Osiris. Baal, Yahweh. See, I was getting Rasta vibes from this. Jabulon. It kind of sounds like Babylon. Jabulon. Of course, that doesn't really make any sense. Why would Jah be a part of Babylon? But in any case, okay. So seems like this one's kind of up in the air. But yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, okay. So in order to join Royal Arch Masonry, you must be already a master mason. So I guess this is a little secret. We're not sure if this is true or not. But according to Wikipedia, this is an alleged thing. Jabulon, according to the Masonic page. Oh, wait, where'd it go? Oh, I just had it. Anyway, whatever. According to the Masonic page, no, we don't worship a specific god. That's crazy. Where did you hear that? So, could be either way. Hey, Ball Knowledge, what's up? Jabulon.
So what the Freemasons believe is that there is a God, but he created this world for us to perfect by ourselves, then God left us. So he's the architect, but that means that we have a responsibility to renovate and perfect the world that we live in.
Okay, so he has the actual, the less insane possibility here. I was expecting to get into Jabulon a little bit.
Okay, but there's also, people believe that the G stands for the generative principle. Okay, so there's male and there's female. The female is a productive principle, the thing that gives birth. The male is a generative principle, the thing that energizes the female. Okay, so what's interesting is that you put all this together. You put generative principle, generate, plus geometry. What you get is God.
Oh,
okay?
And it's because AGI is artificial general intelligence. Is that where he's going to go with it?
And what does generative and geometry equal? It equals AI, artificial intelligence. So at the very beginning...
Generative geometry. This is so fucking stupid. Okay. He's just like, as you know, generative AI.
Freemasonry, there was an impetus, a desire among them to prove that they could be God by creating life itself. All right? In the beginning, they called this golems. But now, if you think about it, that's why they want to create AI.
Golems. Okay, there we go. That's where we get golems from. I'm not the first person I've seen compare golems to AI. Golems are a... What are they? They're made of clay. They're Jewish. Gollum, Gollum, Gollums, I made you out of clay, and when you're dry and ready, my enemies will pay. It's like a Jewish folklore, and it's built of clay, right? The golem is a highly mutable metaphor. Okay. No, I don't want to know about the metaphor. I want to know about the real one. They put the word of God in his head, right? They put like a little slip of paper with a word in it. All golems, like Adam, golems are created from mud by those close to divinity, but no anthropogenic golem is fully human. Okay, interesting. The main disability was his inability to speak. All right. Somebody was trying to figure it out how to make a golem in the Middle Ages. Earliest written accounts. Yes, golems could be activated by an ecstatic experience induced by the ritual use of various letters of the Hebrew alphabet forming one of the names of God. This was written on a piece of paper and inserted into the mouth or forehead of the golem. Cool. And this is kind of neat. In some tales, including certain stories of the Chelm and Prague golems, a word such as emet, meaning truth, is inscribed in the golem, sometimes on its forehead. In this example, the golem could then be deactivated by removing one of the letters, the aleph, thus changing the inscription from truth to death. That's cool. That's a little pun there, a little Hebrew pun. One source credits Solomon ibn Gabiral, who lived in the 11th century, with creating a golem, possibly female, for household chores. Well, of course, if you were going to make a golem for household chores, if you made a male golem and you're like, do the dishes. Why don't you do my laundry for me? He'd be like, I don't, that is women golem work. You are coming after my masculinity. Except he can't talk, so he wouldn't say that, but he'd really be sulking about it. Anyway. But I don't like. There's some interesting things there. It's like it's got it's a lot. It's an automaton that's powered by words. And in that way, golem, you could do a thing about how AI is like a golem, right? It's like they're a word thing. Words are used somewhere in the machine, and it comes alive in a way. But is it really alive? It's debatable. I don't know. Yeah, no, I could see something. Somebody could do something with that. I don't know if Jiang's going to do a great job of it, but let's see.
To prove that they can be God themselves. Once you create AI, then you perfect the world. Okay? So that is...
okay, maybe he's just going to move off from Gollum. I thought he was going to go on a big Gollum thing.
And you can see how it gives rise now to artificial intelligence. I'm not saying
No, I really can't, but I want to.
They plan for artificial intelligence. What I'm saying is that the people in charge now of artificial intelligence, including people like Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, Larry Ellison, Elon Musk, they can now go back to this tradition and basically...
None of those guys are Freemasons.
Appropriate this tradition in order to justify their AI surveillance state. All right? Okay, so now let's move on. This is Zbigniew Brzezinski. And he was
Brzezinski. All right. Curious to see how he brings this dude into it. Was he a Mason? I mean, he might have been. Zdislaw. I forget what he just called him. Zbigniew.
Now let's move on. This is Zbigniew Brzezinski.
Zbigniew Brzezinski. Yeah, Zdislaw Brzezinski, one of the originators of like Realpolitik with Henry Kissinger, father of what's her name on Morning Joe? The other one that's not Joe, Mina Brzezinski? Sorry, geez, I should know her name, but I can't remember. Mia? Doesn't matter. Anyway, but yeah, he's a big kind of boogeyman for conspiracy types because he's like into like geopolitical strategy, foreign policy shit, and big. I also don't like him, but like he's he like a lot of these sort of people will tell you he's trying to create the New World Order, or he was when he was alive, and he's this big scary guy in that way. But anyway, let's hear.
And he was national security advisor to Jimmy Carter, okay, who was president of the United States, and he's a founder of something called the Trilateral Commission, which basically tries to implement American grand strategy in the world. And this was funded by David Rockefeller. who obviously was one of the wealthiest, most powerful Americans to ever live. So this is a very powerful individual. And we're going to read certain writings from his book, Between Two Ages. And when we read it, you'll see how similar it is to Albert Pike. Now, I don't think that Zbigniew Brzezinski read Albert Pike, and he himself is probably not a Freemason. But again, you don't have to read Albert Pike. You don't have to be a Freemason to think like them. These are all people obsessed with power, control, and order. And they're going to look for elements of different religions in order to justify their pursuit of power, order, and control. Okay? So this is from the book Between Two Ages. Can you read, Alan?
The emergence of a large dominant party alongside the more narrowly focuses and more intensively doctrinal groupings on the right and the left could accelerate the trend towards such technological managerialism. Such a large dominant party would combine American society's quest for stability with its historical affinity for...
Sorry, not Zitislav, it's a big no.
...or innovation, relying on scientific growth to produce the means for dealing with social ills. It would tap the nation's intellectual talent for broad target planning and exploit the existence of doctrinal groups by using them as social barometers and as sources of novel ideas. Persisting social crisis, the emergence of a charismatic personality, and the exploitations of mass...
All right, Alan. Sorry, what's this? The fun part about all this esoteric stuff is that Lucian of Samosata coined the term esoteric, has always been satire. Wait, what? What do you mean? I'm not familiar with this. Lucian of Samosata coined the term esoteric? Lucian. Okay. And this was, satirist. Oh, interesting. Cool. I'll have to check that out. All right. All right, Alan.
Media
yes.
to obtain public confidence would be the stepping stones in the...
Sorry, Alan, I gotta skip. I don't care what you're saying.
Only way to deal with rapid social change.
So this book is written about 1970s, okay? This is like 50 years ago. What's amazing about this paragraph is that it perfectly describes America today. This is not just a prophecy.
Okay, maybe we do have to read it. Emergence of a large dominant party alongside the more narrowly focused and more intensely doctrinaire groupings on the right and left could accelerate the trend towards such technological managerialism. Such a large dominant party would combine American society's quest for stability with its historical affinity for innovation. Relying on scientific growth to produce the means for dealing with social ills, it would tap the nation's intellectual talent for broad target planning and exploit the existence of doctrinaire groups by using them as social barometers and sources of novel ideas. Persisting social crisis, the emergence of a charismatic personality, and the exploitation of mass media to obtain public confidence would be the stepping stones in the piecemeal transformation of the United States into a highly controlled society. Okay, so far, a large dominant party alongside the more narrowly focused and more intensely doctrinaire groups on the right and left. I don't see that this has happened at all. The United States is still very much a two-party system. Yeah, no, you lost me on this one, Jiang. But, all right, persisting social crisis, the emergence of a charismatic personality, exploitation of mass media to obtain public confidence will be the stepping stones in piecemeal transformation of the United States into a highly controlled society. I mean, yeah. Sort of. That seems to be more true back when there was a, centralized, media. And now that we have the internet, I think it's a lot more difficult. And society is actually much less controlled. And we have people who are in completely different camps. Like when I read this now, I'm not thinking, wow, this was written in the 70s. It perfectly describes today. I'm like, oh, this is written in the 70s. That makes sense because this is exactly what people would have thought in the 70s. In different ways, both the doctrinarian and conservative might find the temptations inherent in the new techniques of social control too difficult to resist. The inclination of the doctrinaire left to legitimize means by ends could lead them to justify more social control on the ground that it serves progress. The inclination of the doctrinaire left to legitimize means by ends. To legitimize means by ends. Okay, yeah. They justify more social control on the ground that it serves progress. The conservatives, preoccupied with public order and fascinated by modern gadgetry, would be tempted to use the new techniques as a response to unrest, since they would fail to recognize that social control is not the only way to deal with rapid social change. I mean, no, I don't think so. I think that, both parties, neither party is really going for social control on the grounds that it serves progress. Maybe if we had a, like, you know, if we, as in, like, you know, I'm not American, Canada and the US, if we had a viable party that was a socialist or communist that was able to take social control, maybe they would be doing it to serve progress. But I don't see either of any of the options for leading political parties on a federal level as being left enough to be described that way. So no, I actually think this is not at all useful or interesting that somebody thought of this in the 70s. What on earth? Yeah, he's like,
this is not just a prophecy; it's almost like a plan. Okay, so let me explain what he's saying. He's saying that democracy is problematic. Why? Because it always leads to polarization. You're always going to have different factions within this democracy who are going to fight each other. Eventually,
well, yeah, but that's always been what it was like.
You're going to reach a point where they actually refuse to get along. That's what's happening in America today between the left and the right.
Is that what he's saying? That the two parties will be so different they refuse to get along? But he's saying that there will be a large dominant party alongside the more narrowly focused, more intensely doctrinaire groupings on the right and left. Doesn't that mean... I don't get it. I don't get it. Am I missing something here, guys?
Democrats and Republicans, okay? And he's saying this is going to create a series of crises.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you couldn't do a Jiang impersonation without doing a cringe Asian voice without the hard time pronouncing the letter R. It would be difficult, but I actually don't. I feel like I don't necessarily think he sounds like a stereotypical Asian guy. He sounds like, yeah. I know. I have a friend who grew up in Hong Kong at like an international school who has like the most unique accent I've ever heard, but it is sort of similar to this. So similar to the way he talks. I think he probably went to an international school growing up as well. His English is very good. But he has a funny way of talking. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to try to work it out on stream. Maybe I'll try it on my own and then I'll bring it to you guys. But yeah, it'll be a bit of a tightrope walk.
Crises, social crisis. And the solution, he believes, is a technocracy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yes. I definitely got the technocracy vibes here. Trend towards technological managerialism. The conservatives will be too. What did it say? Fascinated by modern gadgetry. Ruled by like technocracy is like basically ruled by engineers. Ruled by like it's like kind of what Silicon Valley guys are looking for. We need like Peter Thiel stuff, like Curtis Yarvin. We need a autocratic leader who is like a Silicon Valley CEO. We want like Elon Musk to be leading us. And I see, like the early version of that in here. So okay, in that way, yeah.
So basically,
it is like this was what's the word, like a prophecy.
A bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. run by engineers who use artificial intelligence, who use data and statistics in order to better govern society, and who are better able to use this social polarization in order to better manage society. Okay? And this is a really, really interesting sentence. Persisting social crises. Okay? So what's happening in America right now is the divide between the left and right. The emergence of a charismatic personality. Who's that person? Charismatic personality?
Professor Jiang, my friends.
Donald Trump, guys.
Oh.
And the exploitation of mass media, okay? So just basically social media in order to indoctrinate and brainwash you. To obtain public confidence would be the stepping stones in the piecemeal transformation of the United States into a highly controlled society, a AI surveillance state. So what he's saying is this. Eventually you'll reach a point where the divide will be so vast, the economy will be in such trouble, the people will be so angry that they will demand a Napoleon or Julius Caesar to arise to lead them into a dictatorship. And this could be a good thing because this could create a technocracy which would be better able to govern society, okay? All right? So this is a continuation of the Freemason project of trying to create order out of chaos. All right? And what he's saying is this. It will be the conservatives, the Republicans, who will win out in the Civil War because they're the ones who are preoccupied with...
Is that what, I don't think he's saying that. I don't think he's saying that, is he? He's saying that no matter who wins, conservatives or the liberals, they will both go towards more control of society. And he's like, that's why he's saying the conservatives, They will win. They were going to win the fight. And it's like, no, he's not really saying that.
Public order and gadgetry, okay? They are the ones who will want the AI surveillance state.
No, he's saying both the left and the right will want this. The right will want it because they're obsessed with the gadgets and they want to respond to unrest. And the left wants social control to deal with social change.
Okay? Once you have the AI surveillance state, you now have the technocracy. And the world will be perfect. All right? Does it make sense to you guys? What he's saying here?
No, I don't think it makes sense to you what he's saying here.
Amazing paragraph.
This is from Zbigniew, right? Brzezinski?
I've written 40, 50 years ago. So I'm not saying he's a Freemason. I'm not saying he's part of secret society, but he sure thinks like a Freemason. All right, let's continue.
No, Jiang, that one sucked. Not impressive.
All right, can you?
Yeah. It was a frontier tradition that stirred the American...
When the heck is he going to talk about AI again? Oh, right, skipping ahead. Ideological universalism. Okay, what did he say here?
All right. Okay.
Techno-Marx.
Is this clear, guys?
Techno-Marxism? No, it's not. Okay. We got to hear this.
That's what they want.
No. Let's hear.
The French Revolution was
hang on.
Isn't over belief. It's finite.
Okay, stop. Okay, all right. So this is
all right. Shut the hell up, Alan. You're taking too long. Okay, I'm ready.
Amazing passage. Okay. This is the guy who was National Security Advisor to Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
At this time, this is the height of the Cold War. America is fighting a war with the Soviet Union, and the National Security Advisor of the United States to Jimmy Carter says that democracy is bad, Marxism is good. Okay? Marxism is good.
Sorry, he's saying Zbigniew said that?
That democracy is bad, a war with the Soviet Union. And the National Security Advisor of the United States to Jimmy Carter says that democracy is bad, Marxism is good.
No, he did not. I didn't even read this. He did not say that though. He did.
Marxism is good. Why? Because it is the end point of history. The French Revolution was about promoting
this guy. This was one of the most anti-communist dudes. Oh my God. He's seriously trying to say Zbigniew was a. How do you even spell this guy's name? Oh God, Brzezinski. I'm sorry, Polish people in the chat. Zbigniew Brzezinski, communism. I don't know. What can we get on this? Hello. Brains, bluntness in the battle for U.S. foreign policy. Communist ideology and international affairs. The grand failure, the birth, death, communism. On the fall of communism. Communism, the grand failure, the fall of communism, the grand failure. Okay, I don't know. The legacy of Zbig Brzezinski. Zbiggie Smalls. Sorry, I just want to young Zbig saw Moscow's behavior for what it was. Russian imperialism disguised in the universalist rhetoric of communism. His early insights into Soviet weaknesses were captured in his master's thesis at McGill University. Oh, he was in Montreal. His McGill yearbook entry reads, "When one is right, victory is only a matter of time." Okay, no, that's not really what I'm looking for. Yes, he did help. Okay, this is more of Kissinger stuff, but Brzezinski, okay, was certainly heard. Sorry. Brzezinski was certainly heard over time. President Carter came to concur with his combative perspective on the Soviet Union. While Carter began his term asking Americans to see beyond an inordinate fear of communism, by 1980, following Soviet aggression in the Horn of Africa, he charged that Soviets need to pay a concrete price for their aggression. Okay, so this is I don't know, it's a little bit vague, but you get the idea that he's advising Carter to be more anti-communist. Communist ideology, international affairs. Purpose of this paper is to discuss briefly the nature of Soviet ideology, its impact on the Soviet approach to international affairs, and the prospects for ideological erosion. Hang on now. Persistent. Oh, jeez. Okay. The fall of communism, VOA. I wish I had something specific I could take you to. Maybe I could just hang on. I bet if I just go to his Wikipedia page, there'll be something on this. This is big. New Brzezinski. Guys, hang on. Hang on now. Communism. There's got to be stuff on here. Yes. Here we go. Zbigniew Brzezinski's personal views would have been described as progressive, international, politically liberal, and strongly anti-communist. What's this citation there? His obituary. He was an advocate for anti-Soviet containment, for human rights organizations, and for cultivating a strong West. He's been praised for his ability to see the big picture. Critics described him as hawkish or a foreign policy hardliner on some issues such as Poland-Russia relations. Like, this guy was not pro-Marxist. It's insane to describe him as such. And what do we got here in his obituary? Communism. He also had to deal with the opening of diplomatic relations with communist China and the consequent severing of relations with Taiwan. Zvig, as he was known, had always been strongly a political liberal in the American sense in domestic politics, but also a strong anti-communist, and he interpreted these events more than either Carter or his Secretary of State Cyrus Vance did, primarily in Cold War terms. There they are, huh? Two of the guys that wrecked the world, Kissinger and Brzezinski. Here we go again. The emotional theme for him was a Polish suspicion of both Germany and Russia, so anti-communism came naturally to him, more or less uncomfortably married to a liberal idealism. Well, it's not an uncomfortable marriage, because like pretty much all American politics is like this now. I suppose like in no small part because of the legacy of dudes like this, where domestically you can be a liberal, you can be a left, you can be like a fucking social democrat domestically. But as soon as it comes to international affairs, which is what these guys were mostly concerned with, hardline, conservative, fascist, like, no, we will take over this small country by force. No, we will overthrow them. We will do this. We'll do that. Whatever. I mean, I guess realpolitik was more about like negotiations, but yeah, like there's not, it seems like a contradiction if you actually have values, but if you're, you know, in this world of elite manufacturing power for yourself and your country and the causes that you support. Yeah, no, it's very different. Okay. I forget what I was even talking about. Oh yeah, because he said that fucking Brzezinski was a communist, a Marxist. Ridiculous, gang. Ridiculous. Might be the weirdest thing he said in this whole video.
Reason over emotion. Marxism is a natural progression of the French Revolution. Marxism is what promises a victory of reason over emotion. Okay, so what is the AI surveillance state? Ultimately, it is techno-Marxism. Okay, that's what they want.
Every time he says okay is a tell for when he's lying. Yeah, but he says okay after like every 3 words. But yeah, no, you are right. It sounds like he's written a fan fiction mashup of William Gibson and H.G. Wells' The Shape of Things to Come. Yes.
Do what communism? National Security Advisor to Jimmy Carter, one of the most powerful Americans in the world, want Marxism.
You don't know anything, bro. You don't know anything. Oh my God. It's because he's got this clip. I don't know where it's from. That is why Marxism represents a fertile, vital, and creative stage in the maturing of man's universal vision. Marxism is simultaneously a victory of the external active man over the inner passive man and a victory of reason over belief. It stresses man's capacity to shape his material destiny, finite and defined as man's only reality, and it postulates the absolute capacity of a man to truly understand his reality as a point of departure. Something active endeavors to shape it. I don't know the context of this. I'll be honest. I have not read anything by him. I'm guessing this is him trying to explain how communists think, how Marxists think, because a lot of realpolitik was about negotiating with people on their level, right? That's my understanding of it anyway. Now, this is extremely fucking stupid. Absolute dog-ass understanding of American foreign policy. Techno-Marxism. And he just pulls that word out of nowhere. Pulls it out of absolutely nowhere.
Is the implementation of the ideas of Freemasonry in our world.
Implementation.
All right? Okay. Is this clear, guys?
No, I don't think it's clear to you. Yes. I don't think you get it.
So, what is the techno-Marxism?
Yeah.
Yeah, great question.
I'm explaining, okay? All right, so this is Larry Ellison. And Larry Ellison probably doesn't read books. Okay, he's probably never read Albert Pike. He's probably never read Zbigniew Brzezinski. Okay.
He's probably never read Albert Pike. Probably never read Brzezinski. Oh God.
But he's one of the most powerful men.
Zbigniew. No, it's Zbigniew. Zbigniew.
In America, because he found a company called.
I can't be that hard on Jiang because I was getting his name wrong too. It's a tough name.
Oracle. All right? And this is him with Donald Trump.
This might be where I start to agree with him again. If he starts shitting on Larry Ellison.
Announced something called Operation Stargate. So they're going to build data centers all around the United States.
Of course.
In order to create their AI surveillance state.
Yeah.
Now, Larry Ellison is one of the most powerful men in the world, but his background is very, very interesting.
Jewish?
He founded a company, Oracle. At the time, it was called RSI. This is from a biography of Larry Ellison called The Difference Between God and Larry Ellison, okay? And it talks about how in the first 5 years, his company was terrible. They were a database company designed to collect data and then organize this data in a way that was useful to companies and to governments, okay? But they were so bad, if you put data into this computer, they lost all the data. They were just incompetent. But who were their clients? It's the CIA and the Navy, who had unlimited money. Okay? So the company is incompetent, destroys data, but the government kept on supporting them. Okay? Can you read, Alan?
The funny thing was the early customers did not really mind losing.
Yes, no, I do want to address this from Scum. Doing a typically racist accent isn't racist if the impression is truthful and accurate. Honestly, yeah, that is true, I think. I think like, white guys, there's a lot of accents that we can't do anymore. Even like 10 years ago, it was, I saw a lot of comedians doing like an Indian accent on stage or like a whatever Jamaican accent and stuff. And I feel like, yeah, you can't just get away with that anymore. But if your accent's like 80% there or 90% there, you can't get away with it. But if you nail an accent, I feel like people will be so impressed that they can't be mad. But you have to really be able to nail it. If you're not quite there, if you're like almost there, if you're like Uncanny Valley, no, it's worse. It's worse. So you have to be pretty good with it. I don't know. I generally try to stay away from doing non-white accents myself.
Losing money or data.
Not always, but I try to. I try to tend away from doing that. All right. Anyway, sorry. What were you saying? What were you saying, Professor Jiang?
The funny thing was the early customers did not.
Okay. I'll let Alan go on this one. Actually, no.
Really mind losing money.
I'll just read it myself. The funny thing was the early customers did not really mind losing money or data. Even though RSI never really delivered what the CIA wanted, the agency was not upset. Engineer Kirk Bradley remembered a CIA employee telling him, "We bought this thing knowing damn well it wasn't going to work. We're buying an idea." Ed Oates' tape du jour did not satisfy the Navy either, but it did not matter. We were buying a Wright Flyer with the expectation that we would probably have an airline in a few years, the Navy's John Schill said. The Navy understood that Oracle might crash and burn at any time, yet it was exciting to try and make it fly. Schill said with a hint of irony. Interesting.
Money or data. Even though RSI never really delivered what the CIA wanted, the agency was not upset. Engineer Kirk Bradley remembered a CIA employee telling him, "We bought the things knowing damn well it wasn't going to work. We're buying an idea." Ed Oates' tape du jour did not satisfy the Navy either, but it did not matter. We were buying a Wright Flyer with the expectations that we would probably have an airline in a few years and burn shields.
The Navy,
with a hint of irony.
Sorry, I forgot I was going to skip his stuff.
This is really confusing, okay? The CIA, the Navy, you're going to hire a company because the company's going to do it cheaper and faster and more effectively than you can do it, right? But what happened with Oracle is that it cost them a lot of money, they weren't getting what they wanted, and they had to put their own resources to create Oracle. They had to help Oracle come into being. So Oracle and Larry Ellison are both creations of the CIA and the Navy. Why would they do that? Okay? That's a very curious question.
Sorry, Oracle and what are the creations of the CIA?
Larry Ellison are both creations.
Oh, Oracle and Larry Ellison are creations of the CIA and the Navy? I mean, I think Larry Ellison was probably born in a normal way.
Of the CIA and the Navy. Why would they do that? Okay? That's a very curious question. I don't know the answer to this. It might be because Larry Ellison is just a really charismatic guy. It may be because he has relatives who work for the CIA, maybe because he got really lucky, who knows? But this is a very curious fact about how these companies like Oracle started, all right? We're also going to talk about this guy, Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is probably one of the most powerful men.
I'm always amazed at people calling Peter Thiel Peter Thiel. A lot of people who know a lot about him. Like sometimes I watched like a video essay about Peter Thiel, I think like fairly recently, and they're calling him Thiel the whole time. No, it's definitely Thiel. It's for sure Thiel. But it does start with TH, so, you know.
And in America right now. I think he's actually much more powerful than Elon Musk. Why? Because in 2016, he recognized the potential in Donald Trump, and he supported Donald Trump's campaign. He also saw the potential in J.D. Vance, and he supported J.D. Vance's venture capital career, as well as his Senate race. And
don't forget Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was Thiel's first political investment.
Then he promoted J.D. Vance as the VP for Donald Trump, okay? And when you read Peter Thiel, even though he's an entrepreneur, he actually reads like a Freemason. It's really strange.
Shut up. Why would it be, first of all, why would it be strange for an engineer to read like a Freemason? Because Freemasons were themselves engineers of their day, right? They were, they're Masons. Now you're talking about, yeah, okay. A lot of what he says is true here about Peter Thiel. Very powerful. Yeah, probably more powerful than Elon Musk. Definitely more powerful than you would guess from how much money he has. He's not the wealthiest man in the world by any means. He's pretty far down on the list. But he has power. He has connections. He has people who owe him favors. He has sway. He has a lot of sway. And how this factors into the Freemasons, I can't wait to hear.
Okay, so this is from his book, From
0
to 1.
Okay.
And he's talking about how to build a great company.
This is like everybody in Silicon Valley reads this book. I've been reading this book right now called Abolish Silicon Valley by, what's it called? What's her name? Abolish Silicon Valley. And it's about her like journey, Wendy Liu. It's about her journey in Silicon Valley, like startup culture, and how like everyone's got to read 0 to 1. And in their startup they're like having a really hard time, and they're really stressed, working like long hours late at the office. And there's one guy who's like, actually, I think work-life balance is important, and I have a family and I need to go home. And like everyone else is like, you moron, what? We can't work with this guy. He's so dumb. And they're just because he's like, no, I don't think I will sacrifice my entire life for this like failing startup. Sorry. And they keep trying to like hint to him. I think you should reread 0 to 1. I think you should really get into. Have you? When was the last time you read the Peter Thiel book? Oh, have you? Like there's a bunch of books that she mentions in here. 0 to 1. What's it called? Oh, and check out these blurbs. Naomi Klein, Cory Doctorow. That's the guy who wrote Enshittification. Naomi Klein, obviously. Helen Hester. Anyway, sorry, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Anyway, but yeah, good book, very cool, very interesting, and it seemed to have something to do with what Professor Jiang just said. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought it up. Oh, because he's talking about 0 to 1.
The issue is this: if you want to build a great company to compete against other companies, you're an idiot. Competition is for losers. Right. Capitalism is for losers. What you want is monopoly. What you want is communism. What you want is dominate.
That's not what communism is, bro. You live in China. They didn't teach you this shit. I understand people in America being so brainwashed by fucking decades of like, Red Scare propaganda. But brother, you must have read some Marx at some point in your academic journey. You must have read some fucking Lenin. You must have read some fucking Mao. You're coming out here, telling me that monopolies are the same thing as monopolies in capitalism are communist? That's not even like that's so wrong. It's like I don't even know what to say about it. Oh my God.
Okay, and that means you need a secret in order to monetize. Okay, can you read, Alan?
Sorry.
Can you read slowly, please?
Yeah, I think I lost steam there at the end of my little rant there. Like, that's so wrong. It's just, I got nothing really to say. It's just wrong.
There are two kinds of secrets: secrets of nature and secrets about people.
All right, let's read this. Secrets of nature and secrets about people. Natural secrets exist all around us. To find them, one must study some undiscovered aspect of the physical world. Secrets about people are different. They are things that people don't know about themselves, or things they hide because they don't want others to know. Okay, Peter Thiel mansplains to us what a secret is. So when thinking about what kind of company to build, there are two distinct questions to ask. What secrets is nature not telling you? What secrets are people not telling you? I'm so confused so far. If you find a secret, you face a choice. Some are more dangerous than others. As Faust tells Wagner, the few who knew what might be learned, foolish enough to put their whole heart on show. Wait, how the heck do I read this? Whoa, what a unconventional rhyming structure this excerpt has. All right, let me try. The few who knew what might be learned, foolish enough to put their whole heart on show and reveal their feelings to the crowd below. Mankind has always crucified and burned. Okay. Secrets. The few who knew what might be learned, foolish enough to put their whole heart on show and reveal. Okay. So the few people who got the secrets and then told them, they have always been killed. Okay. Yeah.
Natural secrets exist all around.
Wait, no, sorry. I don't want to hear from you, Alan. Unless you have perfectly conventional beliefs, it's rarely a good idea to tell everybody everything that you know. So who do you tell? Whoever you need to and no more. Okay, so what, like, this is just like what? Like insider trading? In practice, there's always a golden mean between telling nobody and telling everybody. And that's a company. The best entrepreneurs know this. Every great business is built around a secret that is hidden from the outside. A great company is a conspiracy of change the world. Is a conspiracy of change the world. I think it's supposed to be a conspiracy to change the world. When you share your secret, the recipient becomes a fellow conspirator. I mean, wow, that is an amazing quote, actually. I haven't read 0 to 1. Maybe I should, because that is how Peter Thiel sees shit. That's so funny. That's a great quote. A great company is a conspiracy to change the world. When you share the secret, your recipient becomes a fellow conspirator. Because this guy does conspiracies. This guy does conspiracies. Like, he does them. Like, we know this. We know he conspired to destroy Gawker. One of the craziest examples of this. Like, such an insane story. If you go into what he did, why, how he did it, how he used his money to fund not just the Hulk Hogan lawsuit, but several other angles of attack onto this fucking periodical because they what do you call it, outed him. They revealed that he was gay to the world. Yeah, this guy is a conspiracy dude. Anyway, I love that everyone agrees with that, because he is like a Trump-like figure in that, like, if you're a fan of Trump, you should be a fan of Peter Thiel if you're ideologically a fan of Trump. But because Peter Thiel is so much, he reads so much more as a scheming, conniving elite, like evil lizard person, and the letters in his name can be rearranged to spell the reptile. Because of that, conspiracy theorists hate him. And it's a nice little, I don't know. They're waking up a little bit, I think. Because he really is, like, if George Soros was real.
On us to find them one
skipping
about
ahead.
and they to share your secret, the recipient becomes a fellow conspirator.
How do you build a great company? You create a secret society. All right? And what's a secret society? You access the occult. Okay? If you really want to make a lot of money, guys, don't spend your time programming and looking for the best technology. Don't do that. That's a waste of time. Look at the occult.
That's not what he's saying. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, I guess he's quoting Faust, but he's not saying if you want to create a company, consult the occult. Like, that's not what he's saying at all. I'm sorry. It's just, it's getting to me a little bit. Okay.
Figure out the secrets of the occult and build your company around that idea, and you will come to dominate. All right? So he's very clear about this, okay? What he's saying is that if you want to start a company, start a...
Yeah, I just want to show you guys this Epstein email. He's messaging, what's his name? Japanese guy, right? Hiro Murai or something like that. Oh, wait, what's this? What am I looking at here? Whoa, hang on now. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Ah, crap. There is a email where he mentions Peter Thiel and how Peter Thiel and him are going to start a secret society. I thought I had found it, but I guess not. No, this is not it. This is from him to him? No. Secret societies? No. Ah, crap. Yes, here it is. No. Oh, the reason I couldn't find it by searching is he spelled society like a fucking idiot. He's messaging Joy Ito. Peter Thiel loved the secret society idea. He has done a lot of work on the concept. All failed so far in 2016. Interesting, huh? Interesting.
Religion first, man. Okay, can you read out?
Yeah. The best startups might be considered slightly less extreme
kinds of cults. The biggest difference is that cults tend to be fanatically wrong about something important. People at a successful startup are fanatically right about something those outside have missed. You're not going to learn these kinds of secrets from consultants, and you don't need to worry if your company doesn't make sense to conventional professionals. Better to be called a cult or even a mafia. Wow, that's nuts. Okay, and then he quotes from Empire of AI. So, okay.
Same kinds of cults. Something important those outside, and you don't need to worry if you're a cult
literally now,
or even a mafia.
He's going to come on.
Okay, all right. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, he's saying it literally now.
No, that is actually really interesting. Okay, all right, Jiang, you've convinced me. I got to start reading Peter Thiel.
A religion or sort of mafia, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now Peter Thiel is important because he is a mentor to two individuals, Mark Zuckerberg as well as Sam Altman. Remember from last week, we read Karen Howell's book, Empire of AI, where Sam Altman says that the most successful founders do not set out to create companies. They are on a mission to create something closer to a religion. All right? So he's basically using the words of his mentor, Peter Thiel. This is also what Sam Altman said.
He skips over the quote from Empire of AI. But yeah, this was a. Oh no, sorry. Maybe I just got distracted. But yeah, Sam Altman says the most successful founders do not set out to create companies. They are on a mission to create something closer to a religion. And at some point, it turns out that forming a company is the easiest way to do so. Yeah, this is, I think, from like the intro of Empire of AI. Which, yeah, I think that makes sense. Because I'm not sure that Jiang has actually read the entire book. But yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. And it goes along with her thesis that the best way to think of AI is as an empire. Imperialism.
Now, Peter Thiel, Empire of AI, where Sam Altman says that the most successful...
Right, sorry, he did.
All right? This is also what Sam Altman said. People talk about how much energy...
And also, let me quote from Twitter account, The Chief Nerd. Okay, well, he is quoting Sam Altman.
To train an AI model, but it also takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all the food you eat during that time before you get smart. Okay? So these people literally see no difference between an AI and a human. You're just energy to be exploited. Okay? You're just an energy that I need to turn into a cube in order to create my holy temple of reason.
Oh, okay, now, back with the cube thing. Just barely hanging together. People actually watch this and think that he's smart, eh? That's wild to me. What are the comments like? Poor Alan fighting for his life reading this darn English. Jiang just won't let up. We're with you, Alan. Thank you for your service. Every time Alan thinks he's done reading, there's another bit to read. I like how Alan's becoming he's like the runaway hit character. He's like the Kramer of the show. He's gonna get like his own spin-off. Grandkids, what were you doing on the eve of World War III? Me, I was watching Predictive History on YouTube. Little dude's got a lot better with his reading skills. Proud of him. That's nice, actually. That's really nice. I need Alan's voice as an option for Siri. As a professor myself, it's great to feel like a student again. Oh my God, no. What kind of professor are you? I find it amusing when he says the most alarming, globally catastrophic thing and then still ends the sentence with a reassuring, okay. As a professor, I'm amazed by the quality of this smart board. Okay, yeah. I'm sure we are all from different countries and religions, and yet we are stunned at how on point Professor Jiang is. If I had a teacher this passionate, intelligent, and interesting, I would have stayed in school a lot longer. In the end, I died with my soul, a human being, not a machine. cool. I mean, that sounds like a quote from something, but that's sick. All roads lead Jiang gang. Jiang gang. History is a record of the wars between secret societies. Not really, but maybe sometimes. Maybe some of the wars are like that. I would say history is a record of class struggle. Key points of today's class. Oh, I should have looked at this beforehand. Dang it. Whatever. Okay, whatever. No, people actually do think he's smart. All right. Well, I thought maybe more people would be laughing at him, but all right.
All right. And this is another friend of Peter Thiel's called Alexander Karp, and together they found a company called Palantir. What is Palantir? Palantir is the ultimate AI surveillance company. Okay? So Oracle creates databases of information. Everything about you is in an Oracle database.
And Palantir is like, they analyze data. They arrange data in ways that are useful to whatever, surveillance, people who want to do surveillance on people. Are they AI? I mean, like they use like algorithms and stuff, and I'm sure they've incorporated some AI into it at this point. But yeah, they're evil, Silicon Valley. And again, like Thiel, I'm glad that even like the most right-wing conspiracy theorists hate Palantir. It's very, very good that that's the case. Because they really shouldn't. If they truly were right-wing and they support Trump and stuff, they should love Palantir. You know, Trump made Palantir. Palantir was nothing until Peter Thiel convinced Trump to use Palantir for all their fucking whatever military usage.
Palantir then takes this information and predicts how you'll behave. Okay?